good, and the Perrier Water Stakes 2,400 metres is the race coming up next. There's some of the crowd, and a good game, $5 exactly, odds of 4 to 1. These are approximate Super Tab dividends. They can change right on post time, but they're a good guide. Pombar Ghost at 5 to 2. Bonsai Pipeline is now into $4.20, which is odds of...
One home in the Cranbourne Cup on Wednesday.
100 metres.
Game by a length to Pombar Ghost. Bonsai Pipeline's had a lovely run third on the inside past the 800, Bright Spot outside him. Next to Phasia, followed by Australis Bazaar, and then Jogar still second last, and 2 lengths to Noble Ben Barra. Crying Game carts the field to the 600, 3/4 on Pombar Ghost. The saddles move back satisfactorily. Bright Spot the third, but is under pressure, and then Aphasia. Bonsai Pipeline under pressure now. Jogar starts his run, followed by Australis Bazaar and Noble Ben Barra. 3 across the track round the turn now. Crying Game, Pombar Ghost and Bright Spot. They corner in front of Bonsai Pipeline and Jogar with Aphasia between them. Bright Spot getting to Crying Game near the 200. Pombar Ghost in the middle. 2 lengths to Bonsai Pipeline and Jogar. It's Bright Spot 100 out. Getting a neck to Crying Game, who won't give in. Bright Spot, Crying Game. Here's Noble Ben Barra, but Bright Spot in front. Bonsai Pipeline's coming at him now. Bonsai Pipeline in the nick of time. Got there to win it from Bright Spot. Photo third, either Crying Game or Noble Ben Barra. Close up behind them then. At the head of the others was Jogar.
Darren Beeman inspired win aboard Bonsai Pipeline. Didn't look like he...
A race like the Geelong Cup, I don't think would be out of his range, and maybe even a Melbourne Cup. I think he'd probably get in the field and he might
get the journey.
Huh? Yeah, exactly. He's one of those Kiwis like a Narbotto or something, can sneak in for third or something. I wouldn't totally write him off, although I do have a bit of reservation about the field. I mean, the second horse is basically a bush galloper.
His 3-year-olds are set for a showdown in tomorrow's $500,000 Caulfield Guineas. It's the best field assembled in many years, with the likes of Glamour Colts, General Nadeem and Encounter. However, poised to upstage the big guns is the South Australian-trained Umrum.
Extra strength, good run for their money.
Encounter at $3.50, 5 to 2. 11 to 2 General Nadeem, 20's Knowledge, 4.20 Umrum, $4.20 for $1 is 3 1/4 to 1 or 13 to 4. 11 to 1 Schubert, 66 Dennis Aria, McFlirt from the west at 14 to 1, Gold Guru at 66, El Morada at 14, Tauke at 15 to 2, 7.5 to 1, Mustang Red is a roughie at 6. Okay, Shane.
El Morada began well on the inside with Mustang Red, but General Nadeem was the first to bounce out and found the lead easily. Encounter 1,000 now. And Dennis Sarai works to the lead by a length to General Nadeem, and the pace is faster now. 3 or 4 lengths further back, Encounter third, 1.5 to Umrum, camped on his hammer. 2 lengths to Umrum, camped on his hammer. 2 lengths to Tauke with the drop on them, and then El Morada. 3 lengths further back, Gold Guru, Schubert, and then Mustang Red, McFlirt. Over on the inside is Bradman, and the last couple here are Bonfires outside Knowledge. Heading to the 600, General Nadeem finds the rail and gets a half a length in front again. From on the outside of him, Dennis Sarai, and they're about 5 lengths in front of Encounter. Taking off round the outside is Tauke, and Umrum struggling coming towards the turn. Gold Guru and Schubert have gone past him, and then El Morada. But General Nadeem and Dennis Sarai turn 3 in front. Tauke is running on, and then came Encounter. It's the General racing clear at the early part of the straight. He set up 3 lengths on them, but he is flat to the boards. Here's Tauke and Encounter coming after him. General Nadeem in front. 100 out, he's 2 lengths clear from Tauke and Encounter, who's getting out now. Encounter is after General Nadeem. It's Encounter grabbing the lead, and Encounter's won it. Schubert flashed home and grabbed second. Photo third, either General Nadeem. Gold Guru is there, and Tauke. McFlirt just behind them, and they were clear of Bonfires, who ran on well, El Morada. And then came Dennis Araya and Mustang Red. Back behind them was Bradman, well out of it. Knowledge is second last, and Something Araya with Umrum. He's finished tailed off last.
At the 800 metre mark, plenty of speed up in front of the General, pushed up on the inside of Dennis Araya. Led at a half length, about 4 or 5 to Umrum, who scrubbed along on the outside of Encounter. 2 further back in the race, Tauke coming into it 5th. They're followed by El Morada, and further back Schubert. Encounter under plenty of pressure, and Tauke's gone past him. Umrum's gone. These 2 leaders are General Nadeem now from Dennis Araya. 3 to Tauke starting to close. Then came Encounter under heavy pressure. The General's in front. General Nadeem at the 300 metre mark, 2.5 in front of Tauke. Then Encounter back to the inside. General Nadeem in front. Encounter behind him on the outside. Tauke. The General's a length in front. Encounter trying to get out from behind Tauke. Encounter starting to lift. Races up now to General Nadeem with Schubert. And Encounter wins the Guineas. Great performance. Beats Schubert. And General Nadeem third from Gold Guru out wide.
Never handled it all, Simon. He just couldn't get around here.
He obviously looked a beaten horse turning for home, but to the horse's credit, I mean, he's got to be a champion to get up and win this race.
Well, I also think what happened, General Nadeem went so far from home that he had to stop. And he come back, but, geez, he found the line.
He found the...
One of my hardest rides, I think. he was under a fair bit of pressure from the 800 in, wasn't he?
Yeah,
well, they went hard, and he slotted him the lovely posse early. That's where we wanted to be. And then they went hard, and I said to Richard Kelly, who owns the horse sitting in front of me, I said, we can't win, come to the turn, because he was other horses sort of went round him, horse on his outside, and he was sort of on the hard riding then. But then he sort of just, he's got a bit of guts, the horse. He's a try, and halfway down the straight, I see he was going to catch the leader, but then when is he going to get out or not? That's the thing. Excuse me, I've got to go and see me horse.
By a professional colt who's improved every start. Next to Cox Plate, Shane Dye will be back from suspension for the ride.
He's a great racehorse. He's improving all the time. He's going to get better as he gets older, I believe. He's got to have a chance in a race like the Cox Plate.
Octagonal won it the year before last, and he's going better than Octagonal was, So I think the horse will be hard to beat in a race, yeah.
Beyond the Cox Plate, there's a possible derby start for Encounter. General Nadeem unlucky. He was taken on mid-race, and Umrum was eased down, showing an irregular heartbeat after the race.
It's drama around the Caulfield Guineas. I bet you Brian York was spitting chips at Jim Cassidy at about the 800, wouldn't he have been?
Oh, yes, the trainer devastated Bill Mitchell, Max, wasn't he?
Yes, well, Dennis Soraya, Cassidy's mount, did attack General Nadeem, and, of course, that brought the General undone. I thought it was a great run by the General under the circumstances, but...
Went into the race billed as the best 3-year-old in Australia. He emerged as that, indeed. What a race. First win in the race for Shane Dye and for Clary Connors. It was only a matter of weeks ago they were cursing. After the race, they were kissing.
Well, into consideration too, Bruce, that Encounter was not handling the Caulfield circuit, but at the finish, he's got him well whupped. This was a tremendous Cox Plate trial.
What you said about Tauke is true. Damien Oliver went earlier than he would have, but he surmised that the two leaders had run their race. He went past Encounter. I think he put 3 lengths on Encounter. So that was a gutsy performance to come again and win.
What price would have you offered coming around the home turn?
Hundreds. Well, actually, around the home turn, I got a bit keen on him. I thought he could win. At the 700 metres, I gave him no hope in the world of winning because he got on the wrong leg and wanted to run off, and he wasn't happy, and I thought I had no hope then.
I don't know. Sure, General Nadeem can run a mile.
Most definitely, certainly can, John. And if he hadn't been taken on all the way, would have definitely fought the finish, literally head and head. It would have been a bob of the heads.
You'd have got...
Stay. We don't know whether Encounter will stay. But the way he's finishing his races off, and if you go back to the Champagne Stakes, he found the line very, very strongly as a 2-year-old in a mile. And he found the line yesterday, and he should have got beat yesterday. And for him to win, it was an outstanding trial for the Cox Plate.
Would you agree, Nikolic, who rode Umrum?
Danny Umrum, he was a beaten horse a long way from home, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was gone at the 700, Simon. Travelled okay.
Brian, the General, he was a little annoyed early, wasn't he? Things didn't really go his way.
No, well, it drove us mad, that Dennis Araya, but obviously he was there for a reason and he did his job, I guess.
If Dennis Araya didn't annoy you, you believe he would have won well and...
I think he would have won. He was still going to win 20 metres out, and they just want us to last a little bit. So without that horse there annoying us, he would have won.
No doubt about him running the mile.
It makes it hard for York to pull him in behind, and he'd rather be a free-rolling sort of horse. So yeah, disappointing that horse that probably had no hope in the race ended up driving us mad.
Now Encounter, and the clear is coming at him. Encounter hits the front. Encounter wins from Schubert and nose away third. General Nadeem followed by Tauke.
The Group 1 Yalumba Stakes is a tough race in which Juggler will attempt to defend his title.
This year he goes out again, a year-old.
Yalumba Stakes, and there's the saddle blanket. The close to final tote prices, of course, they can change right at the death. Juggler's got out a little on the tote, $3 now, odds of 2 to 1. Falante is showing at $3.50, which is odds of 5 to 2. 20 to 1 Seascape. Then we move along to Moss Downs at 14 to 1. Alpha is out to 3 to 1, 7 to 1 Tarn Per Lane into 13 to 2, 6.5 to 1, and D Robay at...
So they're bunching right up now, and there followed Day Rebay over on the inside. Back there is Alpha. He's going to take off on it shortly. He's got itchy fingers coming down the side. Magnet Bay swept up on the outside and joins Juggler, who still has the rail a neck away. Tarn Per Lane 1 length away in third placing, and now Alpha's gone up a half a length away. Moss Downs next on the inside. Pakaraka Star got shunted back down the side, and well back Seasky and Day Rebay. Bunched though at the 600. Falante moved up. Falante moved up. Falante got ahead in front of Juggler, who's still with the rail and a kick left, and these two great horses lead by a length. Magnet Bay, Tarn Per Lane and Alpha, but this battle royal is on. It's Juggler the inside and Falante. They're locked together coming around the turn with Falante going to the lead. Falante drew 3/4 on Juggler. Here's Tarn Per Lane and Alpha. It's Falante in front for Jimmy Cassidy. Break about 2 lengths in front of Alpha. Tarn Per Lane. Juggler can't go on. Here's Seascape, but Falante well clear. Falante at the 50 is 2 lengths in front of Alpha. Tarn Per Lane, and Falante wins it well. Alpha second. Wins it well. Alpha second. Tarn Per Lane 3/4 away third from Seascape. Moss Downs, Juggler. Then came Magnet Bay, Day Rebay, and Pakaraka Star has tailed off. Stop-start race this one, and Falante hit the front on the outside of Juggler, led by a neck at the 550-metre mark. Magnet Bay is struggling, followed by Alpha. Tarn Per Lane behind those, followed by Moss Downs and Seascape. Heading for home now, and Falante hit the front. Juggler's under pressure from Tarn Per Lane. Out in the middle now comes Alpha down the centre. The leader is Falante from Alpha on the outside. Juggler struggling, then Moss Downs and Tarn Per Lane. Falante's a length in front. Alpha trying to pick him up. Falante finds for Jimmy Cassidy. Shoots 2 in front of Alpha, Tarn Per Lane and Seascape, and it's Falante. Falante 2 lengths to Alpha, 3/4 Tarn Per Lane third.
After that, what a sensational win.
Oh, great performance, matey. He relaxed beautiful in the run, and geez, he was explosive when I let him run half by straight and Simon.
You rode him, you dominated the race from where you were, Jim. They just can't beat this sort of horse on his day.
Look, Eddie's best, mate. Nothing will beat this bloke.
You'll ride him in the Cox Plate, Jim.
Take more than anything else to get me off him.
Well done, son.
Runner-up in 3 Melbourne starts, Falante at last broke through, continuing the rebuilding of Cassidy's career.
He's got explosive acceleration, and he showed that today. They say there's not a lot between him and Juggler, but I believe there's a lot. There's daylight between them, and he proved that today.
And Cassidy says the only danger in the Cox Plate is Encounter. Juggler disappointed, perhaps finding the hard track against him. Next,
Falante, and watch out, the Jack Denham could well have a clean sweep right through the spring racing. What about the Cox Plate with Falante? What about the Caulfield Cup Might and Power? And what about the Melbourne Cup with Yippee-Yo-Yo?
OK, fair. What about a lot there, man? First win in Melbourne. I think it's just his second Group 1 win. He won the Epsom this time last year. The impressive thing was the last furlong, the last 200, wasn't it?
Absolutely. He is now the 9-4 favourite for the Cox Plate, ahead of Encounter on the second line at 3 to 1. On his days, probably as good as any racehorse in Australia, at least to a middle distance, and especially on a dry track. He's a very good horse, and we saw that yesterday.
He's a versatile horse too, yep. Bruce. You can put him anywhere in a field. If they go slow, he can lead and be just as effective. And you saw yesterday, he'll tuck in. But I tell you what, a good run by Alpha too. And Bart Cummings is bringing Alpha back to his best. Certainly, I don't think he was at his peak yesterday.
No, terrific run, and actually favourite. There's no way that Falante should be favoured in front of Encounter. Encounter should be favourite for the Cox Plate.
One of your great statements again, Bruce.
Yeah.
Don't you remember last year, Falante beaten ahead, and who beat him?
Yeah, Saintly. I remember all of that, Keith. My memory's as good as yours. I'm a bit younger than you, but I can tell you now, Encounter should be favourite for the Cox Plate. He'll beat Falante home, no risk about that.
We didn't have to say it.
Juggler, what happened?
Well, Juggler, there was early in the piece of the race, John, it was a muddling pace. When he jumped, he slightly missed the start. Darren had to put him into the race. He then over-raced for the first 2 furlongs. Darren elected to go to the lead. He had no other choice. Then the pace really quickened, and Juggler he was taken on at 2 different stages, which is not the way he normally races. And he came into the straight, and if you watch the replay, you see his head go up, and he changed his stride, his head go up, change stride, and even on the post he does that. So he jarred up very badly. He's a horse that doesn't like a lightning hard track. He'll certainly appreciate Moonee Valley with the give in the ground.
Commencing with Stephen King.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what the ground's like for the Cox Plate in a few weeks. Let's take a quick and see where they are at the moment, and why wouldn't Falante be 5-2 favourite? Encounter there at 7-2. Starting to look like a race in 2. Juggler 5-1, 7-1 Alpha and Tarn Per Lane, 3-year-old Schubert is there as well. Doreen Downs and Viali. Another great race on the card.
Tomorrow is the Group 1 Toorak Handicap. The Hayes stable will play a very big role in it with 4 runners entered. Several runners in the Toorak Handicap. Firstly, Cut Up Rough. Are you confident he'll get them all?
Yeah.
It's interesting to see.
Bit doubtful.
And Pengulu's also entered in the race. Is he up to it?
Yeah, I think Pengulu's last run was good. He has one of the mile of Flemington here by 3 or 4 lengths, and he's a genuine chance. And on the weights, he drops a bit in weight, and I think if Greg can just get him to settle a little bit, he'll be, be hard to beat.
Group 1 race today. The third is the Toorak Handicap, Melbourne's best milers, 1,600 metres. Number 1, Cut Up Rough, the winner of the Vic Health Cup. That was 1,400 today. 1,600 is at 9 to 1. Catalan Opening from Sydney is showing at $4.70, odds of about 15 to 4. 9 to 2, another Sydney side of Ravada. 8 to 1, Sir Boom. 5 to 1, Pengulu. Des's Dream at 11 to 1. Del Sol at 20 to 1. Willie Watt at 40 to 1. 40 to 1. Brackenbury, one of 4 Peter Hayes train runners at 15 to 1. And Queenstown Kate, the Lee Friedman train, and the horse I've got $1 or 2 on, is at 6.5 to 1 or 30.
Is a clear leader. A length Del Sol, half a length Sir Boom. Des's Dream being followed by Jugulator. Wider on the track Ravada, followed by Cut Up Rough, working his way to the picture. Queenstown Kate behind them. Pengulu a length and a half further back as Shanoak being followed by Catalan Opening and Willie Wider and Principality last of all as they come up to the 600 metre mark. Brackenbury is the leader. About a length on Sir Boom, moving around the outside of Del Sol. Des's Dream behind them. Jugulator. Then Ravada still racing wide, followed by Pengulu. Hard ridden now is Cut Up Rough, followed by Queenstown Cater. Catalan Opening is pulled to the outside. Shanoak is back behind them. Willie Watt and Principality as they're making the home turn. We're over on the inside. Brackenbury is still the leader by a length and a half. Del Sol and Sir Boom is down the outside. Des's Dream. Cut Up Rough is next and down the outside. Here comes Pengulu with a good run, and Catalan Opening from the rear is coming with a big run also. Pengulu hit the front with 150 metres left to go from Catalan Opening, trying to get to it. Then Brackenbury and further back down the outside Ravada, but Pengulu, the big fellow, is going to win the Toorak. Pengulu, half a length, Catalan Opening, 4 lengths away, third Ravada, followed by Brackenbury, Sir Boom. Next home was Jugulator, and they were followed by Shanoak, Queenstown Kate behind them. Des's Dream, Cut Up Rough's a long way back with Del Sol and Principality and Willie Watt back towards the tail of the field.
Nearing the turn, Brackenbury just in front, about a neck clear on Del Sol and Sir Boom. Ravada fourth but wide, and then Jugulator, who's looking for the way clear as Pengulu comes round the outside, and then Queenstown Kate, Des's Dream. Brackenbury led into the straight over Del Sol and Sir Boom. Pengulu's coming wide out. Catalan Opening is starting to come home, and Del Sol down to the inside. Pengulu after Brackenbury hit the front. Here's Catalan Opening. Pengulu the leader. Catalan Opening is trying hard. It's Pengulu a length in front. Catalan Opening can't reach Pengulu, and a Hayes is going to win this at last. Pengulu beat Catalan Opening a half a length.
This race. Half a length. 4 lengths. Ravada got up and grabbed third in front of Brackenbury, and then
Pengulu was back from 20s into 16s, completing a double for Greg Childs. And the last today went to Miss Jugar, starting at 11.
Yesterday, it's for the race, but in the end it wasn't, because Pengulu, who gave Lindsay Park their first win in the race, equalled the course record of 135.2. That's flying. He's a pretty good horse too, Pengulu. Probably underrated. He'd had 8 wins from 21 starts before yesterday.
Yeah, what happened to him last start?
Well, 2 starts ago he beat Rock You, and last start he was only beaten 3 lengths in the Vic Health Cup and met the winner at 3.5 kilos better terms.
Let's go to the race. I want to ask you, we might talk over this one, Max. Catalan Opening, you know him better than we do. I thought when Beeman actually put the whip away in the last 20 metres, the horse did a bit better.
No, I think Catalan Opening saw the winning post, Bruce. He doesn't like a battle. He doesn't attack a battle with relish at all. See, now Beedman's cuddling him. He's going a bit better, but he is not one of my favourite horses. He can produce a brilliant section, which he did yesterday, but his form, I suppose, you look through it, you see he's performed very well in good races, but sometimes at the end of his races he's just got something lacking.
Great to see.
What did you think of the race yourself?
You just throw the form out of this race out the window. It's not worth anything at all. There was a strong breeze blowing down the side, and the horses on the fence. Strong breeze blowing down the side, and the horses on the fence were getting thrown off balance really bad. I was in the race. That's why the winner and the second horse come from third last 3 wide and just in front of it, and they were 3 and 4 wide going round them the whole way. And I believe that's why they won the race, or run first and second, because they were out of the wind. And gets it to be very, very strong at Caulfield, that wind down the side.
It's interesting.
Caulfield Cup market, Keith, you've provided this morning. I want it now. He's 5 to 2 Marble Halls. Is Yippee-Yo-Yo running?
No, he's not. Now, this is a market from Peter Costa, who also has spoken this morning with Mark Reid and in Darwin and Colin Tidy in Sydney. They're both anxious to lay Marble Halls. They say he will have to draw an inside alley.
OK, I like to have 5-2, and Yippee-Yo-Yo's out, and Alpha not running either.
And the whole of Australia will be waiting to hear that news. We better get...
Outside of him, I like Might and Power. I think his run in the Epsom was very, very good. It was no doubt the best run in the Epsom. And often you see the Caulfield Cup is won by the best run in the Epsom. Now, Iron Horse last year run third in the Epsom, come out and run third in the Caulfield Cup. I'm predicting Might and Power will run enormous.
By the way, next...
Our Sumo, in the end, have a stranglehold on the Caulfield Cup, with Always Aloof and Doremus accepting for the $1 million race. The late change of plan with the Star Gallopers means the Freedman stable now has 4 runners at the top of Cup betting.
He should be sharper coming up to a Cox Plate. He's super competitive any time he's got to 2400 and beyond. He's never really run a poor race.
The 7-year-old won the Cups double in 1995 and showed he'd lost none of his class running around the Caulfield Dirt. 9-2 skin favourite behind another stablemate, Marble Halls, with Doremus at 16s. That jockey Darren Beedman.
Melbourne Cup hope Yippee-Yo-Yo has been ruled out of next month's big race. Connections have been told that illness will prevent the star 4-year-old being a Cup starter.
Thank you very much. Clary Connors there, the trainer of Only a Lady, who, as I said, has been quite well supported. Opened up with the bookies at $10 chance, but that's come in a couple of points, so good support there. Quite amazing, as Keith has already mentioned, the drift on Kensington Palace opened up around a $3.25 chance, similar to what the tote is now. Did get out to each way odds and has now just firmed in a half point. There has been some good money for her stablemate, Rosa Danehill, who's going to posse up in the box seat here. Well supported.
Bounced away in a pretty good line, dropping back Lady of the Pines with Snar Dame. Maguasu slow to get going. Sandy Darling landed in front now from Fuss. On the outside is Only a Lady going forward up third. Out from Maguasu, Snar Dame, and then came Lady of the Pines. Graceful in the last of all at the 800 metre mark. Sandy Darling a length in front. Now Cornwall Queen has switched around to go back to the inside of Fuss. Fuss second, third, Cornwall Queen. 2 to Rosa Danehill's at a nice run, fourth, right on the speed from Only a Lady Gimmick. Reigning Bell, Melindy, Kensington Palace, Regal Sachet out wide. A gap Snar Dame followed further back by Lady of the Pines. Cornwall Queen got up on the inside, hit the front from Sandy Darling when they turned from Fuss. Then further back is Rose of Danehill joining in. Only a Lady back to the fence, and further back Melindy Gimmick and Kensington Palace with no room in the straight now. And Rose of Danehill's quickly raced to hit the front from Cornwall Queen. Out wider on the track, coming home pretty well now is Lady of the Pines out in the middle. Rose of Danehill in front. Lady of the Pines is cutting to level. Lady of the Pines is coming from last, and Lady of the Pines wins 3/4 Rose of Danehill. Regal Sachet is third. Then Kensington Palace from Reigning Bell. Further back in the race then came the inside Cornwall Queen from Only a Lady. They're followed by Snar Dame, Melindy. Then Fuss, Aguasu, Graceful Emma, Sandy Darling, and Gimmick is one of the last in.
For Emma nearing the turn now, and Cornwall Queen got up on the inside of Sandy Darling to hit the front around the turn. Fuss wider out. Only a Lady following Cornwall Queen through. Rose of Danehill coming out wider, and then Melindy at the 200 metre mark now. Rose of Danehill swept up to go to Cornwall Queen. Here comes Lady of the Pines, and Regal Sachet coming down the outside. Lady of the Pines races to Rose of Danehill. Lady of the Pines takes the lead, and Lady of the Pines is one at 3/4 Rose of Danehill. Regal Sachet.
It took Master
Hill. Regal Sachet third. Kensington Palace ran on well for fourth, and then...
Wow. Second Group 1 in 4 days, fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, great satisfaction with this mare. It's taken me quite a bit to work her out. It was only a third run in, and she hasn't won since, of course, the 2-year-old race last year, and I decided that she needed to be raced very sparingly and needed the mile.
And the blinkers on as well.
And the blinkers on,
the combination came perfectly today in Beedman.
Exactly.
It was one Cornwall Queen. It was one Cornwall Queen. And there you go. Oh, he's nearly come down. It was bound to happen one day. Be steering away from the fence. Here's the totes on your screen. Lady of the Pines, 18.20 and 4.90. Rosa Danehill had every conceivable chance at $1.60. Regal Sachet, a nice Oaks trial at $4.
Have a look at the horse on the outside there, Regal Sachet, a Cummings horse running third. All over the place. Oh, definitely, yeah. All over, and she wobbled around every corner, and get to Flemington, she'll be something to really bet.
Yeah, and surprising, Spartacus is not the favourite, if you can believe that. he has drifted in the market, and well, he opened up about $3. He's drifted a half point. Now Mahogany, who got to that price, and here's a $3.50 chance, drifted a quarter point. Now he's coming in a half point, so he's displaced Spartacus as favourite. And jockeys are beginning to steer away from the inside section. Now it has had a...
The horse is spot on, John, but the track isn't, and that's why he's got out in the ring.
Well, what is your concern with the horse and the track?
Well, you can't win on the rail, and I mean he's a front-running horse that would have gone straight to the rail and dictated the race from there. Now we've got to try and ride him differently, and it's just not going to suit him. It's just very disappointing, John.
So Darren Beeman will be steering a course away from the fence?
Well, we're going to try and get a pacemaker now so as we can come outside it.
Well, it changes the total complexion of the race and changes your chances as well.
Yes, that's why I had 6-4 on the tote and 11-4 with the bookies.
Yeah. Now, but oh no, look, the track's probably wearing out along the inside rail, but that's fair enough. It's had a lot of racing. They'll move the rail out now for Saturday, and the track will be in good nick again. But you know, old Mahogany, the punters love him, and he never lets them down really. So you know, I think he'll run a good race.
Mahogany?
Oh, he's an old freak. Just get on.
Thanks, Rich. It's won early in the year, defeating Paint, but he appears to need some giving the ground to produce his best. Spartacus, he drifted out to $3.50, is firmed in. Sorry.
Running and Mahogany on the inside, bounce with them. Hall took hold after the start. Away quickly Spartacus with on the outside of him now Be Discreet. Third earliest Can Grande from staging over on the centre, then Red Hope, then Accomplice. A few of these are racing out a little deep at the moment, and Mahogany is last of all, coming down the side. And the leader here is Spartacus, well off the fence, about a half in front of Be Discreet. 2 lengths further back Can Grande, and then staging Red Hope. Accomplice over on the inside, and last of all is Mahogany. The leader is Spartacus up to the turn. He's about 5 away from the fence. Be Discreet outside him. Accomplice is starting to rail up. A length further back Can Grande. Mahogany behind staging, followed by Red Hope. He's under pressure, Spartacus, now as they run to the 300-metre mark. Be Discreet is sticking with him. Spartacus and Be Discreet. Spartacus a neck in front of Be Discreet. Here comes Mahogany. Mahogany starting to fly down the outside. He's done it again, Mahogany. Over the top of them he goes, and Mahogany wins 2 lengths in the run home to Spartacus or Be Discreet. Then staging further back Can Grande, Accomplice, and Red Hope is last of all.
Next came the Churnside Stakes, and the best sprint field assembled this spring was blown away by an old marvel.
Spartacus being pressed now at the 200 by Be Discreet, then Accomplice over on the inside, and now Mahogany. Here comes Mahogany storming down the outside to grab Spartacus and then Be Discreet, but Mahogany sprints right away. What a great horse he is, 2.5 lengths on the pace.
Mahogany at 7, racing as well as he ever has, a winner of $3.6 million and 19 races. He continues to thrill his trainer.
To see him come back and blow horses like Spartacus away, you know, great horse, great horse. If he was a bit younger, I'd take him overseas. I just think he's the best sprinter I've ever had.
And there was
enormous thrill. This horse is a 7-year-old. He's won 19 races now. He is an out-and-out champion. People haven't called him that. Probably some people haven't called him that in his life, but he is an out-and-out champion to be doing that at his age. Well, I think he's had 5 runs at 1,000 metres now for 4 wins. I think once he was beaten, there were excuses. So he's probably the best 1,000-metre horse I've ever had.
And he's won 2 derbies. He fair dinkum defies logic, Mahogany.
Absolute champion.
Amazing.
He travelled in that race on Wednesday. He was just going to win from the time they jumped. He just put his head on his chest and just waited and waited. And that sprint over the last 400, as I just mentioned to Lee, it was awesome. Like, you just don't... A 1,000-metre race, their sectionals, the last 400, you just don't see a horse make up 4 or 5 lengths. But he did.
Simon
Prince, and a short time ago, Simon Marshall had a chance. Number 1 tie of the night is at $4.20, almost 3 1/4 to 1. 15 to 1 now for Dennis Aria, one of the controversial runners of last week's Guineas. Swerve $3.20 on the tote, odds of 9 to 4. Prince Stand In is the 11 to 1 chance. 7.5 to 1 for the Lee Freedman trained Colour Stare. Spying is at $5.60 out to 9 to 2. 25 to 1 Just Beat It, and almost 60 to 1 for the Hind.
Norman for the Victoria Derby is the Norman Robinson Stakes over 2,000 metres.
800 left to go, about a half length in front. Second coming is racing second. Caretaker on the outside, and then just beat it. Wonder Suavity, Dennis Araya. Wonder Brave, Prince Stand Done, getting up on the inside behind. Tie the Knot, and Spying is still back last of all past the 600. Carlos there and second coming, going together in front. Half a length to Caretaker. Dennis Araya running up behind them from Suavity. Just beat it has gone, and then Brave Prince called on. Tie the Knot and Spying are coming to the outside. Carlos there shot away into the straight. Carlos there set up by 2 lengths now into the bend. Dennis Araya chasing on the inside of second coming. Wide out, Tie the Knot and Spying. Carlos there at the 200. 2 lengths to Dennis Araya and second coming. Brave Prince only battling. Tie the Knot and Spying is coming home. Carlos there tackled by Dennis Araya. Now Brave Prince in turn charges home. They hit it, I think he won. I think Brave Prince wanted a nose to Dennis Araya. Close for third behind them. Carlos there on the rail. Tie the Knot is there and also Spying out wider. They were followed by...
One of the nose to Dennis Araya. Close for third behind them. Carlos there on the rail.
Brave Prince, responding to great pressure from Mick Detman, got home at 7-4 over Dennis Araya and Tie the Knot. The fifth
that gets home to win. Is he the horse for the Derby, or maybe, what do you reckon, guys? Is it the Encounters or this bloke?
I don't know how he'll train on, Bruce. That's the key to it. This is his first preparation.
He's back about 6th at the moment.
This was a beautiful ride. He's the grey horse. This was Mick Detman somewhere near his best. But look at the ground that on the outside. The 2 horses on the outside. Tie the Knot is covering. Spying is covering. It was the Detman ride that won this race.
In assuming that there's very little between Brave Prince, Tie the Knot and, say, Spying?
Well, let's face it, the ride won the race. It was the best ride by 100 yards. It was sensational. Reverse the posies, put Tie the Knot where Brave Prince wins, Ties the Knot wins. And the same with Spying. There's nothing between them. But as for a Derby point of view, we've also got to watch Encounter. Yeah. I think one of the 4 will definitely win the Derby.
Caulfield Cup will be run tomorrow. And while the threat of rain has some trainers worried, it doesn't concern Lee Friedman, who's aiming for his 4th victory in the race.
Lee Friedman and Damien Oliver are eyeing off Caulfield Cup number 4 with brilliant galloper Marble Halls.
Pretty confident going into the race. I know I've got a good enough horse to win the race. Probably the most confident going into the race I would have been on Paris Lane. But big races like this, you can't be too confident going into.
Caulfield Cup, there's been a plunge on the Bart Cummings train Catalan opening. He's been back from 40-1 into 15s. But Lee Friedman's Marble Halls and Always Aloof still dominate the betting. Here's Simon.
Remus, you know, he hasn't been in a race that has suited him all year, really, except first up when it was the slashing run here when he ran 3rd, and that's the only race he's been in that there's been any pace on. Because
I'm tipping a little bit of an upset, sticking with Might and Power. A little bit disappointing in the Epsom, where he over-raced. If he settles better, he'll run the 2,400 metres right out and prove hard to beat at good odds. The obvious danger are the favourite, Marble Halls and Always Aloof, who looks more a Melbourne Cup horse to me, but Might and Power for me.
Alpha is starting to charge late with Might and Power. Armadale is walking. Might and Power's grabbed him with Alpha. I think Might...
TOB number 13, Might and Power, stepping up from 1,600 to the 2,400, but I know that's not worrying Shane Dye.
No, not at all. I think this is a miler's race a lot of time. And what I mean by that is a good miler can come out and run a good 2,400 metre race at Caulfield. And not only do you like him, Ken, so do I. His run in the Tote
Market as the horses take their place for the running of the Caulfield Cup. We look at number 5, Istedad, is now out to 6-1. It's out to again to 11-2 as I speak. Always Aloof is into 13-2, and the other firmer is down to the favourite, number 11, Marble Halls, who's now showing $4.30, odds of 3. Die. If you're riding in this race, what do you think the tactics?
And they're up. Marble Halls again quickly with Istedad, Always Aloof. On the inside now, away quickly, Magic of Sydney, Might and Power prominent, Dayra Bay, Sweet Delight are coming across fast in the early part as they charge down to the post now, and Dayra Bay, ridden for speed, has gone up on the outside to head Might and Power. Magic Peep on this line, then 2 to Doremus, a length away to Count Jefferson, Skybow last of all. Might and Power trying to lead all the way in the Caulfield Cup, takes the field to the 1,000 metre mark, a length in front of Dayra Bay, a length to Iron Horse Magic of Sydney, followed by Sweet Delight. A length and a half to Marble Halls, and then came Always Aloof, 1.5 further back, Cattle and Opening. They're followed by Our Sumo, around Estadard, 2 lengths to Magnet Bay, Bonsai Pipeline, Ebony Grove taken out wide. 1.5 further back as Markham over on the inside as Dorema starts a run on the outside. They're being followed well back in the field by Peep on the Sly and Count Chivas and Skybow, one of the last. Might and Power still has the lead coming to the turn at the 500. A length in front of Dayra Bay. Always Aloof has called on for the run on the outside. Marble Halls has nowhere to go, back on the rails. Round the turn now, and Might and Power shot about 2.5 in front. Always Aloof chasing hard, and then came Ebony Grove coming down the outside. Might and Power well clear at the 200 metre mark. He's gone out by 4 lengths. It looks all over. Marble Halls is running on the inside, followed by Istadard, and now Doremus coming home, but Might and Power has gapped them in the Caulfield Cup. What a win. He's won it by 7 lengths. Doremus is second, Photo third, either Markham or Cattle and Opening. Close go there, clear off Istadard, and then Marble Halls. In behind those was Ebony Grove, and they were followed by Magnet Bay, Sweet Delight. Next to finish, Peep on the Sly, Always Aloof. Then came Count Chivas, followed by Iron Horse, Skybow towards the end, with Magic of Sydney, Our Sumo, and Dayra Bay. And one more there is Bonsai Pipeline. It's a stunning victory, an all-the-way win. He made them look second-rate. It's been all might and power. A super win, a super victory by this horse. Number 13, Might and Power, Jim Cassidy, has made...
The field, Count Shivers and Peep on the Sly is last of all. This leader, Might and Power, making a merry bid for victory, coming up towards the home turn. Got away by a length and a half. Always Aloof around the outside. Iron Horses in the picture. Dayra Bay followed by Magic of Sydney. Marble Halls blocked away on the inside as they straighten up. Might and Power is the leader. He's well clear. Might and Power got away 3 or 4 lengths in advance of Always Aloof and Ebony Grove coming down the outside. Then Iron Horse and Marble Horse from a long way back, but Might and Power well clear. 150 metres left to go. He's 6 lengths ahead. Marble Horse along the inside. Istadard in the clear. Doremus down the outside, finishing on strongly, but Might and Power has bolted in with the Caulfield Cup. He wins by 8 lengths. Doremus second. Good go for third. Cattle and Opening will mark him. They're followed by Istadard. Further back, Marble Halls, followed by Ebony Grove, and back in behind the Magnet Bay and Sweet Delight. Peep on.
Might and Power. Might and Power, a mile in front of the 200 metre mark, 5 lengths in front. They haven't got a hope of catching Might and Power. Jimmy Cassidy has exploded away with the Caulfield Cup. He's 8 in front. Doremus from a mile back, but Might and Power wins 6 or 7 lengths.
Even Denham showed some emotion as Might and Power crossed the line in record time. The 7.5 length margin, the greatest in Caulfield Cup history. But old Jack still refused to break a self-imposed media ban.
Will you say something after winning the Caulfield Cup?
He wasn't. And Jimmy told me back in March when he won 2 restricted class races, he would win the Caulfield Cup. That's how he tipped it then.
Go and enjoy it and lead him in. Well done. Back to you, Ken.
Yeah, thanks very much, Simon. The horse Might and Power is by Zabeel, the sire of Octagonal. He was bought as a yearling by Sydney trainer Anthony Cummings on behalf of Mr. Moratis for just...
But what about the second horse, Doremus? What a terrific Melbourne Cup trial. And if it happened to rain Melbourne Cup week, or Melbourne Cup day, he's certainly come into the race.
Third, either
Might and Power did all the work, yet left a high-quality field floundering. Jimmy Cassidy, out suspended this time last year, cherished the moment. Trainer Jack Denham maintained his silence despite the crowd and media urging him on. But Cassidy, back from a long time on the sidelines over the jockey tapes affair, said enough for them all.
Oh, look, great thrill. Gives me every, And has little doubt Might and Power can stay the 3,200 metres.
Probably the greatest Caulfield Cup ever run, if you look at it on face value.
Mark Dora.
Might and Power. I remember after the Olympics last year, Roger Black, who finished second, and Michael Johnson said, he makes us look like ordinary runners, and we're not ordinary runners. Yesterday, Might and Power made them look like hacks. Doremus is no hack. James, and Keith and Max, because you did tip it, and well done. It's hard to tip a winner of a Caulfield Cup, and you both went for him.
Good on you, Bruce. Bruce, this Caulfield Cup this morning was described by Lee Friedman, who had 4 runners in the race, as the greatest Caulfield Cup ever run. It certainly was in the past 40 years, at least.
Who could disagree with him, Keith? It was a magnificent performance. It was a world-class performance, and
I just wonder whether we'll ever see anything like that again, certainly not in a Caulfield Cup.
And as we speak, and well, they're engraving the Melbourne Cup this morning as we speak, and on it they're engraving Might and Power.
Gee, that is a big wrap.
Everyone's been so solid, and it was a real team effort.
Jim, we saw how hard you went out of the straight the first time, yet you ran the last 600 metres in 34. The first time, yet you ran the last 600 metres in 34.5, which was faster than the last 600 metres of the Scalacci sprint.
Of Denham horses, how would you regard Yippee-Yi-Yo and Might and Power in a 2-mile race like the Melbourne Cup?
Well, I'd definitely ride Yippee-Yi-Yo, Max. I think Might and Power is sensational up to a mile and a half. He can race handy. He's a speed mile-and-a-half horse, where Yippee-Yi-Yo at 2 mile, I don't think there's horse in the land would be.
Are you putting some doubt on...
The win was explosive. We've not seen one like it. Did you expect the horse to produce a run like that?
Well, we've always thought he'd take Filano's place, but just hope the handicapper didn't see it.
Alan, why wouldn't your dad talk today? It's the Caulfield Cup, his first runner.
If you knew the reason, he'd know.
We're glad you did. Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Ron.
Might and Power right now is favourite over Volante. Jim says he'll still ride Volante or would prefer him. I can tell you Jim Encounter will run favourite on the day. I'm not sure if he'll win, but he'll run favourite on the day. And then in the Melbourne Cup, we'll keep it. Might and Power's on the trophy. He's going to have to run.
Scratch it off. Quickly scratch it off.
I witnessed something very, very special yesterday, and it'll be great to take that with me the rest of my life. That was unbelievable. What he did to that field yesterday, maybe we'll never see again.
That win was like Hariba's down the straight that day when he ran, you know, world record time, and he was just amazing. And it was very similar. And you only get this type of win once every 4 or 5 years.
You just don't see it much in the modern era, you know, horses just...
Danny always elusive. Seemed to have every chance in the race. Was there any hard luck stories?
No, I had a good run, Simon, the whole way. I posied up 5th, 6th. Travelled beautiful, didn't even touch a bit. I come to the half mile and I thought he was half a chance.
Not much of a point into the Melbourne Cup.
I thought he was very disappointed today. He seemed a little bit finished, but that horse put 4 or 5 on me within 2 strides.
The pace was just nice early. It obviously suited your horse. No excuses.
No, I couldn't make any excuses, Simon. Just on the day I wasn't good enough.
Chris, Iron Horse, was he a little disappointed?
Nice and tight and fit for the Melbourne Cup.
Fantastic, Simon. Absolutely fantastic, mate. Couldn't be happier. What a great horse. Rode him very cold, though, mate. You know, I mean, when I say rode him cold, I mean, you can't change this horse's pattern. He's a 7-year-old, and he loves that. But it just goes to show he's not telling. Won't want to rain, buddy. They'll be in awful trouble if it rains. They're in serious trouble now, but if it rains, they're in big trouble.
Meantime, the George Hanlon-trained Oregon Star has won today's Geelong Cup.
A huge crowd took advantage of a public holiday in Geelong today, most of them hoping buzz-off would make the day off worthwhile. The Jack Denham-trained gelding was sent in a 6-4 favourite in the Cup. Jockey Jim Cassidy looking to repeat Saturday's Caulfield Cup win aboard Might and Power.
And away they run to a good start.
But a mile in, things weren't going the way of the favourite.
Graylix buzz off as third last. And
while the hopes of many Melbourne Cup aspirants hinged on the race, it was a mare not even entered that pinched the...
Oregon Star pulled to the outside, running on well and deeper on the track to Noble Ben Barra. Buzz off down. Starting to rattle home, followed by Cape Dance. Oregon Star's moved up on the outside to take the lead with Sunny Lane, who battles back. They're clear from Scrupulous, followed by Buzz off, who's under a ton of pressure. Noble Ben Barra. Oregon Star is the leader. Scrupulous is finishing very strongly down the outside. Oregon Star just the leader, close to home. Scrupulous coming at it. Oregon Star, Scrupulous might be Oregon Star from Scrupulous in a tight one. Sunny Lane close up with Northern Embossing.
Oregon Star's 3rd win in a row, giving local trainer George Hanlon his 4th Cup win, although few have been closer than this. Craig Hutchison, 10 News.
Crowd, I reckon, close to 40,000 here at the Moonee Valley Racetrack for the running of the Cox Plate, but that's later in the afternoon. Coming up now is the Amy Vase, a set weight race for 3-year-olds. Gold Guru is at odds on, out to even money as I speak. Number 3, Mustang Red at 5-2, second coming at 5-1, 20-1 Don't Say Goodbye, 30-1 House of That, and the magnificently bred Danehill filly Tropic is at 6-1.
100 metres mark, and again our Savard got out of about a neck to Mustang Red again joining it. Gold Guru waiting to go. Oliver is coming out 3 wide now. He'll start his move in a moment, followed by Second Coming. Don't Say Goodbye. Tropic is last, but only 3 lengths off the lead, and they are very tightly bunched as they come to the 600 by the school. Mustang Red in the centre takes a narrow lead from our Savard. Gold Guru chiming in, widest of all in the yellow and purple colours. Don't Say Goodbye. Tropic is last of the 6 as they come around the corner. Mustang Red on the inside and Gold Guru, they turn together. They're both flat. 2 lengths away. Our Savard followed closely then by Second Coming. Into the straight, Gold Guru quickly got the upper hand over Mustang Red, and Damien Oliver goes for home. Gold Guru draws clear of Mustang Red. It's all over bar the shouting. This horse ran a terrific race in the Caulfield Guineas, and he runs right up to it today. Oh, he canters over the line to beat Mustang Red. Second Coming third, followed by Tropic, and the last couple, Our Savard and Don't Say Goodbye.
One pin-up boy, Damien Oliver, gets home on Gold Guru, and there they are.
5-4 in the Vase.
But Gold Guru straightened up a length in front now from Mustang Red, and then a gap to Second Coming and Our Savard. But Gold Guru racing away from Mustang Red, who sticks on gamely. But Gold Guru and Damien Oliver, they score pretty easily on the line. He gave him a soft time of it. Beat Mustang Red by 2 lengths. Second Coming third, then Tropic.
Had a good derby trial by Gold Guru. It was against the B team of 3-year-old stayers, though.
Out of this, do you think he can go on into a derby, maybe? Well, I think he's got to be a chance on the derby. He's won pretty easily today, and when he did get to the front, he sort of pricked his ears and had a look around, so I think he's going to be better when he gets to Flemington as well. Well, Damien, it's nice to get the score on the board, especially before the Cox Plate, in which you're riding Dane Ripper. How are things going to go there? Well, we'll need a bit of luck, Simon. She's the outsider, but you never know in these big races. I'd love to be having a chat to you after that one, mate. Oh, well, let's hope so, Dame. We'll catch you then, Cobber.
At this stage, John, he was never in danger, was he, Shane?
No, he was always going to win. His run in the Caulfield Guineas was outstanding. He's got a good hope in the derby, but, you know, there are 4 or 5 just as good, if not better than him.
Now, Shane, is Encounter a definite runner in the derby?
He's not definitely going to run at this stage, but I'd say he would be running. Clary won stage, but I'd say he would be running. Clary wanted to see how he pulled up, and we want to see whether he'll run the 2,500 metres or not.
Kenny Callender, any market for the derby?
Yes, John, I personally don't think Gold Guru will get sided in the derby against the better horses, but he's an 8-1 chance. Michael Iskander, the leading Melbourne bookmaker, is already betting. He's got 3-1 Encounter, a risk at the distance, but has class on his side. 7-2 Tie the Knot, 4 Schubert, 5 Brave Prince, 8-1 Bart's Horse spying with Gold Guru. My tip at this stage, John's Tie the Knot.
Simon?
I haven't decided between Tie the Knot and Schubert.
I have. Tie the Knot. I reckon Guy Walter might have gone a little easy on Tie the Knot after the Champion Stakes. He blew the house down when...
Cox Plate favourite Falante will attempt to make amends for finishing second to Saintly in the race last year. And in case he needs...
I believe probably not won by the best horse all the time. Sometimes the best ride plays a big part, and...
Are you happy with the way Schubert's come along since he's running the Guineas?
Couldn't be better, just absolutely perfect. If anything, he's just got better.
Well, Bart, there's been a lot of support for Alpha in the past few days. What do you make of all of that?
I'd like to meet the fellow, touch him, see if he's real. He sounds as though he's come out of the 80s. And he's an ideal horse for the race, as I see it. The horse has improved a great deal since...
Well, she's a pretty good filly. Hasn't been tried over this distance, but she ran a very good race, in my opinion. And she's a big, powerful filly. Looks like a colt. And the nice yielding track here, the Strathair track at the Valley, will suit her. She jarred up very much in the metric mile at Randwick, and this will suit her much better. And I think the way she's worked here, she's worth a little each wage.
But you think Alfred Falante into 15 to 8, 290 at the moment on Super Tab. He might firm just a little bit more. Juggler is an 8-1 chance, getting out towards 9-1. Moss Downs, one of the Kiwis, is at 40-1. Viali, the other Kiwi. And incidentally, Lance O'Sullivan has been taken to hospital with a suspected broken leg after his fall in the Great Western 2 races ago. And Viali will now be ridden by Greg Childs, a former Kiwi, at odds of 7-2. Tarnpur Lane, you just heard from Gavin Eads. Tarnpur Lane is getting out from 8-1 to 9-1. Dane Ripper at 16-1. Encounter about 6:30 between 5-1 and 11-2. And Schubert, Larry Cassidy's mount, trained by Peter Hayes at Angaston in South Australia, is forcing Falante's price down. Opened in the betting ring around 7-4, and now in most places is as short as 5-4. There's the connections of Encounter. Shane Dye with Fred Kelly, one of the part owners, Clary...
Jimmy Cash.
Racing. Great start, Tarnpur Lane, an encounter on the outside, bounded away brilliantly. Tarnpur Lane in front, from Falonte inside him, and on the outside, encounter down to the winning post. Then on the inside is Alpha, outside of Dane Ripper, from Viali, Juggler, Moss Downs, and last of all is Schubert. Tarnpur Lane outside, Falonte going out of the straight. No pace at the moment, Tarnpur Lane fighting with the rider. He'll go to the lead by a length to Falonte, easing back, and third on the outside, encounter. Alpha is fourth, Dane Ripper on the outside, fifth, two further back by Ali. Then Juggler followed by Schubert, and last of all is Moss Downs at the 1450 metre mark, and Eads has Tarnpur Lane in front. In the Cox Plate by 2 lengths. Falonte right where I'd say Cassidy wants him running second. 2 lengths behind Falonte encounter. Then came Alpha, is over on the inside, fourth. They're followed by Dane Ripper running fifth. A length further back in the race, then Juggler on the outside of it by Ali. Then Moss Downs and Schubert last of all. They haven't gone hard as they go to the 1150 in the Cox Plate, and the leader is Tarnpur Lane. 2 lengths Falonte, 1.5 further back encounter. 2 to Alpha running fourth, a half Dane Ripper fifth. Then Juggler on the outside of it by Ali, and the last 2, Schubert, the first one to make a move. He's taking off from the back now, Schubert at the 900 metre mark. Moss Downs is last of all. The leader is Tarnpur Lane at the 800. 3/4 in front, he's well off the fence. Outside in Falonte, a length further back encounter. Schubert going up on the outside, followed by Alpha and Dane Ripper, as Falonte pulls his way to the lead. Falonte went to the front from encounter and Schubert. Tarnpur Lane under pressure. Alpha goes back to the inside. It's right on at the 600 metre mark. Falonte, Schubert and encounter. Back on the inside, Alpha tried to squeeze through. Then Dane Ripper followed by Viali. It's Falonte fighting back a neck in front of encounter and Schubert when they turn. Behind them, Dane Ripper, then Alpha, and further out Viali. Falonte the leader on the turn, a neck in front. On the outside, encounter followed down the outside by Viali, and Dane Ripper back to the rail. Falonte the leader, Dane Ripper getting up on the inside. Dane Ripper the mare, a boil over in the Cox Plate. Dane Ripper wins nearly a length on the line. 2 Falonte, third in a photo is Viali. Encounter was squeezed up by Falonte in the straight, then wider out Moss Downs. They're followed by Schubert, a gap into Alpha. They're followed by Juggler, never came into the play, and near the tail in the Cox.
Wide now. Alpha in the all orange on the inside of Dane Ripper, and then Viali followed by Juggler, and Moss Downs is back last, but they're packing up tightly. About 6 lengths covers the field, and it's Schubert on the extreme outside making a lightning move with encounter. They've raced up to join Falonte. Falonte, encounter, and Schubert come around the turn together. Alpha is flat to the boards. Dane Ripper running a bit of a race, followed by Viali. Into the straight, Falonte with the inside runnings a half length on encounter. Will the 10 kilogram pull in the weights make the difference? Falonte just in front, encounter trying to get to him. Dane Ripper getting the rails run. Further out is Viali. It's Dane Ripper, the bolter, the despised outsider. Dane Ripper got right along the fence and came away to win the BMW Cox Plate in a boil over. Falonte has run second. Encounter might just get third in front of Viali. Schubert followed by
with encounter and Schubert tackling. Dane Ripper's running on around the outside, and here comes Viali. Next is Alpha. It's Falonte in front. Encounter coming at him when they corner now, clear of Schubert, Viali, and then Dane Ripper. No Alpha. It's encounter after Falonte. Dane Ripper the rail. It's Falonte in front of Dane Ripper and encounter, and then Viali. It's Dane Ripper flashing home on the inside. A surprise. Dane Ripper wins it for Damien Oliver and Bart Cummings. Falonte is second. Photo third, either Viali or encounter, who couldn't finish it off, clear of Schubert.
Bart W Cox Plate, and Bart Cummings is a genius.
Bart Cummings.
Dane Ripper. Yeah, it was a great thrill to win the fillies. He's worked very well here. I was very pleased for the owners because they've been very loyal and took the advice to run it today, and it was great to see her win.
Something, you had a beautiful run in the race. Yeah, sensational. Got a beautiful run. As I sort of anticipated a little bit, I thought the favourites might get a bit anxious and take each other on. So I let them go and sat on them. And I was just bolting come to the turn. And the run appeared on the inside and I ducked back down. It was awesome.
Awesome, Dame. Now, when did you hit the front?
Oh, about 50 out, 100 out.
What was the feeling like?
Oh, I knew I was going to win. I was just over the moon.
What's it like to win a Cox Plate? I mean, you've won the Caulfield Melbourne Cups. Now you've won the mighty treble, Dame.
Oh, mate, it's fucking... Whoops. It's brilliant, so...
Brilliant. Well, there's a little bit of the Perth boy coming out of him. Good on you, Damien.
She really bullocked her way through and, you know, she raced like a really good horse today.
And it was vintage Bart.
This filly always showed the potential that she could do something like this, in my mind, and it's great to see it come to fruition as it did. We haven't seen the best of her yet. Back next year? Certainly will.
While the stood-out Cummings track rider Joey Agresta wore a proud smile, having convinced his boss the mare could win the race.
I really think Bart always had it in the back of his mind and just need a little reassurance, a little shove.
Volante.
Encounter who couldn't finish it off, clear of Schubert. Bart never ceases to amaze. He decided to start Dane Ripper only last Tuesday, but he'd been hatching the plan for 8 weeks. But only 2 mares have ever won this race.
Just because the Cox Plate doesn't fly you, because they also haven't done it for years. Well, I look ahead, not behind.
And a 10 out of 10 ride by the best in the business.
She was a forgotten horse, and, you know, as I said, there's no pressure on me. And it's the way it worked out. You know, you wouldn't have dreamt you'd be climbing all over Volante and Encounter coming the turn, but I couldn't wait to get out from behind him.
And the Stradbroke winner started a drifting 40-1. Volante second in the race for the second time. There'll be more on today's racing at the Valley.
Jimmy Volante, you rode him perfectly. What a beautiful run, Simon. I was a little bit worried when Tarnfell Lane kept hanging off the track bad. He sort of got off the track bad 5 from home and sort of made it tricky. I was too far up on his outside to be coming back to the inside, and then I sort of committed to sort of roll forward with Encounter sort of right on my hammer, and then when Larry took off on Sherbet. And but look, he was gallant in defeat. He got probably tired the last sort of 30 metres, and that's where the other horses got up inside him. And like I straightened up for home, sort of probably half a horse off the fence, and you know, look, I was thrilled with his run, gallant in defeat, and you know, credit to the winner.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Simon.
Stephen, Alpha, he ran good. You gave him a nice ride, though.
Yes, Simon. I mean, I had a good run. I just couldn't sprint when I wanted to go, and there was a run in front of me, and if I was able to sprint, I might have been able to get in the position where I wanted to be, but I didn't have to.
Do with your defeat, Jim?
Yeah, I thought Larry might have gone a little bit early, but that was his decision, and it really put the pressure on myself and Shane to track forward into the race. And gee, my bloke fought back good. I thought it was a mighty run for Volante.
Jim, Larry had to go. The tactics of the race, he couldn't stay back there in a slowly run race. He had to go. Volante had his chance, Encounter had his chance. It was just the luck of the race that gave it to Dane Ripper. But I can't.
The moment of the mare. She created a bit of history again yesterday, but she won the Stradbroke as a 3-year-old filly, and she's won the Cox Plate as a 4-year-old mare. This might be something special. We might be underestimating Dane Ripper.
I think it was a fluke.
Do you?
Yesterday.
Gee, I don't know about that, Keith.
I think it was one of those races that...
Tell us what you really mean.
Yeah, well, I reckon Dane Ripper fluked it.
Do you?
I think it was one of those races that everything went right for her, that the Big O, the new Big O, Ollie, Damien rode a fantastic race, the only magic in the race.
You know, great ride, Damien. He took the punt to come back to the inside, and that's what makes great jockeys, and he's certainly that.
Bart Cummings has won 236 Group 1 races. I think this is probably his greatest training feat. This mare had never raced in Victoria, she'd never raced at the distance, and she'd never raced at weight for age. How could she win?
Just another little chapter in one of the most remarkable stories. Yes, Max?
It was quite spectacular in its mediocrity, the Cox Plate yesterday.
Yeah, look, I don't agree completely with you. I think the field, on paper, looked below average, and now that Dane Ripper's won at 40-1, it won't be seen as a memorable one. I think you've made a point. Look, Damien's the one, isn't he? If he wins today, he might even shorten up for the Melbourne Cup. He's 7-1 at the moment with Doremus.
We'll need a tow truck to beat Might and Power on the Melbourne Cup.
Hey, and I've got to admit to one thing, I'm a bad judge. 11-8 for Lonte, 9-2 Encounter, and I kept, well, 4-1, I kept screaming it'd be favourite. I'm a mug once again, Max.
Alpha, going away from the winner. Disappointing yesterday, or was it the muddling pace that probably confused him a bit?
Well, I think the muddling pace was against him. Most of his best races are when the time's been running in a record time, and he finishes off very well. So I just think that the way the race was run didn't suit him.
He asked him from home. The horse was travelling lovely, and went about another 200 metres, and I was spent force. Long way from home.
Why is that, Darren? Did he jar up on the track?
No. I just don't think he's been 100% right. I thought it might have been the track the other day, and he did jar up at Caulfield, but today he was beaten too far from home. The track conditions really suited him nicely, but he just...
Behind the barrier for the Moya Stakes, the speed test. Here are the prices. Remember, this is 1,000 metres. Ken Grande, 14-1. Paddington N, 33. Centivi, 20-1. Spartacus, 230 on the tote. Round about 5-4. Touch better. 14 Aussie Cozzy, 10 El Mansour, Telkay showing at $5 now, out to 4 to 1. Suit at 25 to 1, and Be Discreet just over 5, about $5.10 on the Suit and metre speed tests.
The Moir Stakes could be one of the fastest races ever seen here today. There's a lot of pace. It helps.
Off, came away in a perfect line, and first out is the little grey Aussie Cozzy, straight to the lead, but Centivi on the outside's going to keep her bobbing. In fact, Centivi will lead Aussie Cozzy. Be Discreet has scrubbed along to hold down third spot, followed closely by Spartacus on the outside. Can Grande easing back in behind those flying machines, followed by Paddington End. Over on the rails, Tau K run off his feet early, followed by Suit and Al Mansour. Centivi is the leader, 500 metres out, a little more than 2 lengths to Aussie Cozzy. Spartacus in third place, followed by Be Discreet. Tau K starting to work into the races, switching around. Be Discreet, followed by Can Grande. Al Mansour saving ground close to the rail. Into the straight, Centivi the leader over Aussie Cozzy. Be Discreet is trying to get out of the pocket. Further out is Spartacus, who might be struggling, and Al Mansour's the one in the yellow colours. He's flying. Look at him go. Al Mansour swept to the lead close to home, and there's a brilliant win in the Moir. Al Mansour came away to win. Spartacus second, Aussie Cozzy third. A great little mare, followed closely then by Tau K. Be Discreet is next, and further back Suit, followed by Centivi, and the last couple of Can Grande and Paddington End.
Until through the gap, Centivi 2 in front of Aussie Cozzy. A length into the outside, Spartacus Beatman busy on the big red at the moment. 2 further back, Be Discreet, then Tau K from Can Grande. Well back in the race, then Al Mansour, Paddington End. Centivi turns for home, 1.5 Aussie Cozzy. Spartacus on the outside, and Tau K coming home well, and so's Al Mansour. About to get a run, Centivi, Aussie Cozzy, Al Mansour. Al Mansour's hit the front with 150 to go. Spartacus can't reach him, and Al Mansour sprints away from Aussie Cozzy and Spartacus, and Al Mansour wins well. 3 lengths on the line, Spartacus, and nose third Aussie Cozzy, then Tau K from B.
Was the Moir Stakes. And then Al Mansour, Centivi the leader, Aussie Cozzy chasing hard, Be Discreet getting up on the inside, and then Spartacus, Al Mansour and Tokay. Centivi in front, Al Mansour grabs it with Aussie Cozzy, wider out Spartacus. Al Mansour dashed away though, and Al Mansour draws on to win it by over 2 lengths, a big win. Spartacus grabs second and nose in front of Aussie Cozzy, I'd say. And that made it 5 straight for Al Mansour, and the promise of plenty more to come. He broke the course record. Next,
Paddington End. Well, that was run at a furious pace. You knew something was going to come along and win, but you didn't think they'd win like that.
Well, when Be Discreet couldn't lead, which we didn't expect it to, and she can normally lead any races with Aussie Cozzy and Centivi, it was just made for a horse back in the field. Spartacus was off the bit from the time they jumped. He was outside me and never travelled at all, John. And I think if he can get into a nice 1,200 metres and get travelling, he's going to be very hard to beat.
This horse, I think, is very underestimated, has been very underestimated. We saw the best of him yesterday in the Moir, and I reckon he's a bit of a working man's horse too. A lovely fellow, Hilton Coper, you know very well, bred him, John, up at Kelvin side at Scone. It's great to see. Estimated horse, we're going to hear a lot more of him.
I think we took him for granted in the winter months in Brisbane. I didn't think he could win yesterday, but it was just an amazing performance, and he's going to win a lot more.
I think it's that Brisbane
win. He looks sensational to win. He looks sensational, as I said. I like Yobro for second, Linesman for third, and Court of Honour.
Thanks very much, Mark. It was a very... Number 5, Court of Honour, as Mark reported from the mounting yard, that Court of Honour has presented very well here today. They bet $8, and he's come in a full point from that, so a bit of support there. Vitaman is of the 1997 Grosby Gold Cup.
The line is good. Signal given. They're racing. They came out as one, the 7 runners, and Vitaman one of the first out on the outside. Linesman hunted away to try and get up inside him when they settle. Vitaman's a good length in front of Linesman, Yobro, Court of Honour, Noble Benbara, Fair Bay. York dictating the lead out in front here at the 850 on this fellow Vitaman, 3/4 Linesman. Niggled out a little by Cassidy. Court of Honour right behind them, a length and a half away third. Then Yobro, Linesman going up to have another crack at this fellow Vitaman in front. Coming down the side, Vitaman a half in front. Linesman on the outside, he gave it another crack with a whip from Yobro. Court of Honour waiting for a run, and 2 further back, Noble Benbara. Vitaman ahead in front on the outside as Linesman. Yobro a length away, and then Court of Honour fourth, about a half away. They're all under pressure, and Vitaman on the inside slipped away about 3/4 Linesman when they straighten up. Vitaman got away, a length and a half Linesman. Court of Honour about to get out. Vitaman first for home. Court of Honour gets out. Yobro wider out on the track. They get to Vitaman. In the centre, Court of Honour hit the lead from Yobro. Linesman coming again. Thompson rides It's hard. He gets Court of Honour home, and Court of Honour has scored. 3/4 to Linesman or Yobro. Vitaman weakened in the last 200 to run fourth. A gap in the race, Noble Benbara. Further back then, Artistic Rose and Fair Bay last of all.
And runners, but 6 of them still in the running for the Melbourne Cup.
Round the turn, it's Vitaman by 2 lengths to Linesman, who can't go on. Court of Honour into the clear now as after him, and Yobro. Linesman coming again, it's Vitaman. Court of Honour grabbing the lead. Yobro and Linesman coming at Court of Honour, but Court of Honour finds his form and Court of Honour wins it.
Originally sent here for last year's Cup in which he failed, Court of Honour finally found his form and a welcome success for Brent Thompson. He'd had just one other win in the past 7 months and now a live Melbourne Cup chance.
They ran good time in the race and he stays every yard of the trip, so I mean if he does that, we assume he's worthy of starting.
The Hayes family has won this race 5 times in the 1990s. It was 2 in a row for Peter.
He's continued to improve. I mean, he has continued to improve. You can see how much improvement he made from Sydney today. Loves to sting out the ground, and he's very fit and well. His biggest problem is he's got 55 kilos.
He carried only 53 today. Court of Honour break his Australian maiden, winning for the first time in 2 years. Linesman, the 13-8 favourite, second all the way. Race
back aboard Court of Honour, and he must be a little hope chance in the Melbourne Cup, Andrew.
Yeah, he summed it up beautifully there, Mark. Very little hope, I would say. I just think that he's beaten Linesman there, but Linesman, I don't think he was... Larry Cassidy got up and said he wasn't really happy just with the smaller track and things like that. Things didn't quite go his way. And when they do meet next Tuesday, there'll be 6.5 kilos swing back for Linesman. There's not a hope in hell Court of Honour can beat him home, you wouldn't think. And I don't think Linesman's probably the horse to beat either. So I don't like any out of the race as far as the Melbourne Cup. In fact, the best Melbourne Cup trial was probably Yobro, who's an Auckland Cup winner. And
ability to race. Brandy hasn't ridden a Cup winner.
Connor's the trainer of Pragmatism in the Waterford Crystal Mile. Pragmatism money for King Ivor. Mark Broadford's joined me now. Mark's just going to tell you what he saw in the mounting yard. Mark, firstly, the favourite King Ivor. How did he present?
He presented very well. You couldn't knock him in as far as his looks were, John.
That massive horse of John Hawkes' Holy Roller, he looks like a giraffe nearly.
Yeah, I just had a little jib at Darren Gauci as he was going out. I said maybe you should put some hurdles in front of him, but usually when you say that, they make a fool of you. But very, very big horse, as you say.
He's incredible. OK, Mark, thanks.
Tesla a half in front of Pragmatism. Dorsal Finn hasn't had much luck getting on the track on the outside. Dorsal, it's 3 out, a length further back in the race, Brackenbury. They're followed by, right off the track, Hero Wind around Ravada. Further back then came on a Code Sir Boom. King Ivor's had no luck in the run. He shuffled back to last with Mighty Way and taking off his Holy Roller. Miss Tesla got a length and a half in front now from Dorsal on the outside, Brackenbury. And here's Holy Roller putting in a run right up on the bank, out deep on the track. King Ivor's back third last on the turn. Holy Roller is striding up on the outside to claim Miss Tesla when they turn. And this big elephant of a horse, Holy Roller, hit the front. Look at him, he's 18 hands high and he's stretching away from Miss Tesla. Mighty Way running on. King Ivor in the clear when it's all over. But Holy Roller wins 3 or 4 lengths. Second, Miss Tesla, I think Mighty Way grabbed third, a nose in front of King Ivor, which had no luck in the...
Huge Holy Roller, the biggest horse in training in Australia.
Holy Roller with giant bounds claims her and takes the lead. It's Holy Roller dashing to the front now from Miss Tesla and then Brackenbury Mighty Way out wide. But Holy Roller, the big giant, is streaking away with it. And Holy Roller's won it by about 4 lengths on the post. Photo the miners.
Yes, a big win to the big fella. It was only the second winner in 2 months for Darren Gauci, who has been suspended twice in that time.
A good run in the race was Mighty Way. I thought he found the line good. And also King Ivor. He didn't have a lot of luck, but those two I think will train on well through that race.
It weighs about 700 kilograms, and a normal horse is about 500. It's incredible, isn't it? And he is that big, though, isn't he? Everyone in the mounting yard was talking about him. He's just enormous. Did you notice him in the...
And Charlie Goggin is a step closer.
Well, they're coming to see the Hardy Brothers Classic as well too, Jen. Race 4 at 125. Don't call race 4.
Rightio, Peter Scorbic, number 3 at $12. $19 for Admiring Glances. Bionic Best, well in commission at $5, but easy on track. 19 Chevelle Place. $23 for number 8 On a Swing. Prairie is the favourite, number 9 at $4.30 the win, $2 the place. $13 for Queenstown Kate. Shindig at $15.90. $15.30 for Spectrum. Number 14 Angel's Image at $7.10 10 is excellent value. 51 Chicago Baby and number 16 Von Ann at $6.60.
Shortening up. And as far as I'm concerned, Prairie on that Epsom run will be very hard to beat, Dan.
Thanks very much, Dan. Well, as you said, a lot of money for Angel's Image. It's about $6.60 on the tote. Nothing like that in the ring. They've jumped out of the trees, in fact, to back Angel's Image in the last 5 or 6.
And they'll quickly begin turning. They only have round about a run of 200 metres. There are the tips. It's Von Ann from Jenny Chapman, Bionic Best from Richard Friedman, and as far as Letzi and I are concerned, we've gone for Prairie.
Down on the fence, a length away Prairie inside Shindig and a length and a half to Chicago Baby. As they round the turn at the 700 metres, and Angel's Image the leader, about a half a length to a Scorbic. On a Swing's had a nice run on the inside third at the moment. Then Admiring Glances, Queenstown Kate easing out, Bionic Best was next. Spectrum getting up along the inside from Prairie, who's about 8 lengths off them on the turn. Chevelle Place hard ridden, Shindig wider out, and then came Chicago Baby. In the straight at the 400, a Scorbic went up to put the pressure on Angel's Image. On a Swing went for the rails run, pulling out Admiring Glances. Prairie switching back to the rails with a run, getting through with Spectrum. On a Swing the leader, but here is Prairie. Prairie getting right up along the rails after On a Swing and then Shindig. Prairie hit the lead with 100 left to go, and it's all over. Prairie's drawing away from On a Swing, then Spectrum the third, but Prairie's won it well, and a very, very heady ride. Second in On a Swing, third Spectrum just in front of Admiring Glances and Von Ann. Then Shindig, Bionic Bess, Scorbic, Angel's Image knocked up, Queenstown Kate, Chevelle Place, and Chicago Baby.
You can see Darren, he's just gone back, starting to work back. You lose sight of him here a bit, then that cerise colours come. Spectrum's the one coming out, and Darren's gone right back behind them. The one on the fence is on the move, and here he's gone right back to the fence and got to run right through. Beautiful bit of riding. Spectrum's the one just outside of him. He just...
But she's always been a good mare, and as I said, she was a bit unlucky in the Epsom, so, you know, it was good to win today.
Form-wise, the Epsom handicap's going to turn out to be the race of the spring, I think.
Yeah, it's been great. Everything out of there, you know, has continued to win. It doesn't matter where they finish, so it's, as I said, it's made him a pretty...
$4.40 and $1.80 the place. Number 8, On a Swing, at $6 even, and 13 Spectrum, $3.50.
Jen?
Yes?
The Qantas Wakeful Stakes over 2,000 metres is, as we said, a great guide to the Oaks.
Event coming up, one of the real feature races on Derby Day, the Wakeful Stakes. It's more than an odds-on bet that the Oaks winner is in this race. The Oaks is on Thursday, of course. Only a Lady, number 1 at $20, 13 for Kilmore Key, Malinti at $8.70, 26 Nardame, 7.70 Massawa, 16 for Stay Lucky, 2.80 Kensington Palace, Regal Sachet, Zacheline, 16, 27 Miss Perron, 57 Light.
Of them should have a position before they begin the turn, and I think Kensington Palace will be in the position to enable to win.
And waited, and now they've come for Kensington Palace. It is a pronounced favourite. Everything else has drifted in the market down here. Kensington...
Ready and racing now. Stay Lucky missed at 2 lengths. Regal Sachet a little slow, and Like a Beal was slow to begin, so an awkward start for quite a few. The first out, Only a Lady. Alamonte going forward with a stablemate Malinti, and Kensington Palace was right up there in the early stages off the lead. Along the back, about 1,200 left to go, and the leader is Alamonte by 2 lengths. Snardame running second, a length away Malinti third on the inside. Miss Perron fourth, about 2 lengths to Only a Lady fifth. 3/4 back to Kensington Palace, 1 off the fence. Then Marine Spirit on the inside of Kilmore Key, a length further back to Zacheline, who's covered a lot of additional ground. Western Realities on the inside of Hit and Run, 2 lengths to Massawa. Another 2 to Tropic around Stay Lucky, 1 to Regal Sachet, who's about 10 off the lead, and back last the inside Like a Beal. Running up towards the home turn now, 700 to go, and the leader is Alamonte, about 3/4 of a length in front of Snardame. Malinti's had a lovely run third on the inside of Miss Perron as they come to the turn. Kensington Palace is easing out. It's coming 3 and now 4 deep as they straighten up, and then Only a Lady trying to get clear. Marine Spirit next, Massawa ridden along further out then to Zacheline. Regal Sachet trying to weave through down to the fence, 350 to go, and Kensington Palace swooped up on the outside of Snardame to take the lead. Marine Spirit getting out, Only a Lady, and they were followed by Zacheline. Regal Sachet ran into a dead end. Kensington Palace the leader, Only a Lady coming at it with Marine Spirit. Kensington Palace about a length in front. Marine Spirit, Only a Lady, and then Kilmore Key, but Kensington Palace will be too good. Kensington Palace wins it. Second Marine Spirit. Spirit third, Kilmore Key, who got to the line nicely. Only a Lady close up fourth. Then Zashaleen, next in Malindi. Regal Sachet perhaps didn't have the clearest run in the straight. Alamonte back on the fence. Stay Lucky made ground, and then Tropic Snar Dame weakened. And then Miss Perron and Western Reality. Massawa, Never a Hope. Like a Beal back to the tail of the field with Hit and Run.
And Only a Lady on the inside of Kensington Palace, who's had a perfect run now. And Oliver pulls it to the outside to start a run. Zashaleen's got onto her back, and then Marine Spirit when they corner with Mazawa getting up on the inside at the 400, and Snar Dame moved up to Alamonte, but Kensington Palace looked to be kidding. On the outside now, Oliver let her have her head, and she took the lead, drew half a length in front. Running on is Only a Lady, and down the outside, Zashaleen and Marine Spirit, followed by Kilmore Key. Kensington Palace, the leader, broke 2 lengths in front of Only a Lady. Marine Spirit is running on with Kilmore Key. Kensington Palace clear though near the line, and Kensington Palace wins at last. A length and a half, Marine Spirit flying home Kilmore Key. I think grabbed third in front of Only a Lady. In behind those, Zashaleen, Malinti. They're followed then by Stay Lucky, Regal Sachet. And
Damien, you must feel pretty confident going into the Oaks now, because being at Flemington too, I noticed her last run she was very unlucky, wasn't she? Well, speed nice.
Yeah, she's a beautiful staying filly, and you know that's all she's wanted to do from the word go.
You got no worries about the way the race, the Oaks will be run?
Not really, no. I just hope it's not a biased track to the fence like it is today. No. Unless you're near the rails today, it's going to be very hard to win, mate.
Yeah, she's a very good filly, though.
About 4 or 5 weeks ago.
$2.80 and $1.50. 9 Marine Spirit, $5.80. 2 Kilmore Key, $4.40.
Bolted away with the Wakeful. She'll be nice and short in the Oaks on Thursday.
Yeah, I thought it was a good effort. She's probably one of the only horses all day to come out that wide and be competitive. And as soon as Damien got her to the front, you'll notice he lets her get the 2 clear and then goes back to the fence, and that was a smart move, I think.
Well, a fair-minded man who measures his words carefully on most issues, racing or politically, is Simon O'Donnell. What do you think of the track?
Well, I thought it was probably circular, it was green.
They're in the mounting yard for the Salinger. And Peter Donegan... King number 1. Outstanding effort at Caulfield when he was off.
He's had a lot of problems, hasn't he, Poetic King? And he is a fabulous racehorse. He's got to be one of the main chances in this race, Peter. I like number 8, Rock You. He's had the 6 starts down the straight for 3 wins in a couple of seconds. So his form is very good there. And the other horse that I was giving a chance to was number 9, Another Excuse. He got a mile out of his ground last start, and I thought he could go better here.
I think Pengulu's going to improve now that the track's a bit firmer. If it had been right down there with Tim Gossage.
Rock You has halved its quote, was double figures. It's the biggest plunge of the day. Rock You, the Lee Friedman trained Poet King is the favourite, but the stablemate Rock You heavily supported.
Big King the favourite, Rock You heavily backed. And they're racing now. Ruffles a little tardy to begin. Way well, Rock You is going to go straight over to the flat side of the track with Natoir. So there's Rock You and Natoir splitting up, and the other 12 are coming down the grandstand side of the track. Ruffles is going about last in that main pack. Poetic King's about 3rd last as they come down towards the 700 metres mark now. And on the flat side of the track, it's Natoir on the outside of Rock You. And down the grandstand side, Royal Discard is the leader. From Bradson, Accomplice, and then Ruffles, Rye Hero into the clear. Regal Centre likewise. Flavors coming into it. Noah followed by Another Excuse, and Pengulu running on. It's Rock You and Natoir on the flat side of the track. Down the grandstand side, Flavor hit the lead from Accomplice, Bradson, and then cut up rough. It is the stablemates Accomplice and Flavor together on the flat side. It's Natoir and Rock You. They are stretched across the track. The inside in front. Natoir, the bolt of the leader near the post, and Natoir's won it and blown them out of the water. Natoir first has beaten Rock You. 3rd is Flavor, I think, from Accomplice, and then Cut Up Rough and Pengulu. Next home would have been Bradson, Poetic King, Rye Hero, Royal Discard, Another Excuse, Regal Curator, Regal Centre, and Ruffles knocked up to finish at
where Royal Discard is being pressed now by Bradson, and Flavor's coming through with Accomplice. It's Flavor racing up to go to the lead at the 200-metre mark, and on the other side Rock You has it, but it's Flavor in front. Coming after it is Accomplice, and then Bradson. It's a Flavor and Accomplice, and on the other side Natoir and Rock You. Natoir on the flats in front. It's Natoir the leader. Natoir's won it from Rock You. 1st and 2nd on the flat side, I'd say. With
unfortunately for
you, Natoir on the flats in front. It's Natoir the leader. Natoir's won it from Rock You. 1st and 2nd on the flat side, I'd say, with Flavor 3rd on the grandstand side. That's the way I see it. In behind them, Cut Up Rough and Pengulu, and they're followed by...
We're going to come down the inside.
Yeah, it was sort of, he drew out there, and a couple of the good judges said earlier they thought the fence was probably a bit better than the outside, So, we went that way.
Is your heart in mouth in these straight races?
Yes, that's just how good the flat side rail was. Natwar at 20-1 and the first Melbourne win for Sydney jockey Lenny Beasley.
Gone over to the inside with Natwar. Danny Nikolic, you told him to go there. And did you ask him also to try and talk Lenny Beasley into going there on Natwar?
It was a mistake, wasn't it?
It was a mistake. That's what happened?
That's what happened, yeah. Well, look, I looked at it this way. The inside rail had been brilliant all day. The only reason all these horses go to the outside all the time is because the stalls are there now. And I thought, well, where I was drawn, I was only going to end up in the middle of the track and have no hope. So I said, go to the inside rail.
It's quite ironic, isn't it? The barrier draw has won and lost races down the straight. Now they've changed things. It happened again yesterday.
Well, perhaps the rest of the week they might you might get that congestion on the outside rail. They might start going down the inside rail.
Right. We've just about got to wrap up. And
I reckon they're about to change now, Jem. We're at the lean cuisine quality, an important lead-up race as far as the Melbourne Cup is concerned. And let's take a
Grandmaster, number 6 at $3.50. Field of 8 in this race. Scrupulous at $5.50 has been easy on track. $4.70 for number 3, Buzz Off. Wonder if there's been some support for Buzz Off today. There's the 8 runners and one over the page, and that's proper.
Bookmakers are reeling after Dantelar's impressive victory in the last, but as you said, Grandmaster is the favourite with the bookies. Buzz Off, there has been a little bit of support, but not a great deal. And
they run up towards the home turn. One man out was next. Grandmaster the fence. Back second last, Buzz Off and Propaganda. They got 600 to go, and Backslapper is the leader from Scrupulous. Down on Monterey, trying to get one off here. Scrupulous is going to come 3 deep, and then Crying Game pulling wider was one man out as they come to the home turn. Dark Czar hard ridden, and Grandmaster getting a run through the field, but Backslapper a length and a half in front as they turn into the straight, getting to second down in Monterey. Grandmaster runs on, then one man out, and Buzz Off trying to weave his way through, but it's Backslapper at the 300. It led by 2 lengths to Grandmaster, then down in Monterey, followed by Buzz Off. Backslapper the leader. Grandmaster's after it solidly now. Backslapper a length in front with 100 to go. Grandmaster trying to inch it back. It's Backslapper a half length in front. Grandmaster can't get it, and Backslapper all the way. Backslapper first, 3/4 of a length to Grandmaster. Buzz Off has run third, just in front of Down in Monterey, and then one man out. Dark Czar. Crying Game was never really a chance. Scrupulous got very tired. It's pulled up at the rear with Propaganda.
When the film rolls here, you can just see, I thought this is where Grandmaster...
The colours, that Star of the Realm wore, too, to win a derby. Stephen rode him as well to win that derby. Backslapper, $12.70 and $2.90. 6 Grandmaster, $1.80, and 3 Buzz Off, $1.60.
Victoria Derby. Let's cross live to Joe McKinnon, who's at a soggy Flemington.
You like? I'm sticking with Encounter. I think he's the class horse of the field. He's a multiple Group 1 winner. I liked his run in the Cox Plate.
Races on the calendar as we have a look at the tote figures. Sum it up quickly for us.
I'll put my faith in number 13, Spying. I've liked him all along, from number 1, Encounter, and number 5, Brave Prince.
And I like Encounter, Dan, and he's showing pretty good odds on the tote for mine.
Yeah, well, you're not alone too, because punters have made it favourite at $4.70 Peter, $5.20 for 2 Tie the Knot, $7.30 number 5 Brave Prince, and number 13 Spying kept very safe. It's at $8.
Racing in the Derby, and Encounter was one of the first out from the middle gate. Mustang Red and Tie the Knot began quickly. Behemoth out the back at the start, and Second Coming is racing across the field now. Looks for the lead. Danasarai's gone forward as well. Carter Stair not far off the pace, and Kilkea Mustang Red are hunting up along the inside. First turn coming up now, and Second Coming just the leader. A few fan wide. Carter Stair and Danasarai, and Counter's fired up. On Derby at the 1200 now, and Second Coming the leader by 2 lengths to Mustang Red, 3/4 to Danasaraya, a length and a half Encounter, 4th inside Kilkea, 2 lengths to Carter Stair, a length and a half to Spying, 3/4 back on the rail Tie the Knot, followed by St Saviour and Schubert, 1 to Caretaker, 1 to Gold Guru, Prince Dan Darn, followed by Brave Prince, a half to Prince of Lucre, and 2 Behemoth at the back of the Derby field when they swept towards the 800. Second Coming 3/4 on Mustang Red, 2 1/2 Encounter on the inside of Danasaraya, 1 1/2 to Kilkea, followed by Carter Stair, who's following the favourite to the turn, and then Spying, a length and a half to Tie the Knot, 2 to Schubert when they came towards the bend, and they're followed by Gold Guru, then Prince of Lucre, back around the home turn now. Brave Prince is second last, switching to the inside, giving them a long start, where Second Coming bolted 3 lengths in front at the 400 from Mustang Red. Carter Stair, here comes Encounter with his run now, and Beedman has Tie the Knot, unwinding a fantastic finishing run at the 300. Second Coming still 3 lengths in front at Tie the Knot and Carlos there. The rest can't go on, headed by Encounter. Second coming, 150 to go. Still by 2 lengths. Tie the Knot is trying ever so hard at the 100. Second coming's done it all out in front. Holds them at bay. It's Second Coming clear, and Second Coming, the Kiwi, wins the Derby by 2.5 to Tie the Knot. Third placing to Carlos there, Bohemoth from last for fourth, and then Gold Guru, followed by Schubert. Behind them, Brave Prince, Prince of Luca, and then Encounter, followed by Mustang Red, a break to Prince Standun, Kilkia, Danis Araya, Spying as well back, followed by Caretaker and Sensation.
Down as they come to the turn, Brave Prince is a mile back. Into the straight at the 500. Second Coming picks up the tempo here. He'll turn 1.5 lengths in front of Mustang Red, who's now called on and under the whip. Calistair makes ground, then Encounter, and here's Tie the Knot with a run. Down to the 300. Second Coming led 3 lengths. Tie the Knot and Calistair are running on strongly, and then came Schubert. Second Coming in front. Tie the Knot starting to reel him in with Calistair, and they're well clear from Gold Guru. Tie the Knot after Second Coming. The Bolter, Second Coming a length in front. Tie the Knot wearing away, but Second Coming's got him beat. Second Coming's going to win the Amy Victoria Derby. Second Coming by 2.5 lengths. Second, Tie the Knot. Third, Calistair. Bohemoth charged home. Near last on the turn for fourth. Then Gold Guru.
300 out. The Boulder Second Coming, 2 in front from Tie the Knot, Calistair. Encounter can't pick him up from there. Second Coming a length in front. Tie the Knot is starting to wear him down, then Calistair. Second Coming a length in front. They won't get him. Tie the Knot won't pick him up, and Second Coming is led all the way in the Derby. Draws away Second Coming to win 3 lengths. Second, Tie the Knot, Calistair. Third, Bohemoth has jumped out of the ground to run fourth.
Greg, when you come to the home turn, you flicked him up. He seemed to accelerate again, didn't he? Did you feel confident then?
At the half mile, I flicked him up, John, because they wanted to make it a true staying test, the owners. And, well, I did what I was told, and we pinched it.
Yeah, just right. Plan that worked perfectly.
Plan of attack was to lead, and we wanted to. They stressed the fact almost to lead at all costs, because that's the way he's always produced his best performances.
Second Coming started 25 to 1 and won like a hot favourite. Tie the Knot tried hard. The equal favourite Encounter failed to stay.
He was very impressive, particularly in the last 100 metres when he drew away again. 3 horses, Lee, who you were talking about just then, in their first preparations, and you believe have a terrific future.
Yeah, I think it's a marvellous effort. All these horses probably surprised, well, my horse certainly surprised me during the winter, and I didn't get much opportunity to give him a rest.
Yours is the grey there,
the grey there. Yeah. And he had 3 weeks off in the stable, and that was all. And my mate Guy Walter trains the second horse, and he had a similar situation, as was the winner. So they've done very, very well.
First and third Cornell at a pretty modest handicap over 1,500 metres at Moonee Valley in July, and also running in that race was Bohemoth, who flashed home to run fourth. So it's rare on a first campaign that we get 3 of the first 4 place getters in the Derby come out of a mid-winter race.
The reason why the form is misleading, I think Tie the Knot ran a tremendous race considering he was out in the quicksand. I don't want to take anything away from Second Coming. He's a promising horse, but no, it's not going to be, in my opinion, a memorable classic.
Well, like Ridge has got a counter in the Derby.
Yeah, he pulled a little bit hard early, which was always going to be the case if you know the horse. I thought he would relax the way he's been racing, but I couldn't get him to relax early, and he pulled a bit hard and just didn't see the journey out.
Would that be a result of the Cox Plate?
He just got over racing.
Got a bee in his bonnet. Now, what about the track as Encounter was concerned?
Handled it beautiful. He likes the sting out of it. He was on the best part of the track. He was on the inside. There was just no excuse.
Weekend.
Okay, moving on to another Group 1 race, the McKinnon Stakes, and of course the Cox Plate heroine Dane Ripper backing up. How's she pulled up?
Dane Ripper's done very well. I didn't ask her to do much this week, and she worked over a mile this morning and felt good. And yes, I'm quite pleased with her. She's going on very nice.
A good gauge for your cup runners, but if you're looking for a winner, don't look at the cup runners.
Well, invariably that's the case, and that's why Falante looks the winner. He's the class horse of the field. He doesn't want any more rain because he's dead to slows, is probably as bad as he can handle, but he's Cox Plate, and the jar out of the track will help her. Look for a big cup trial from Ebony Grove and Sky Bow.
1, 11 and 6. Field of 10, and 5 of these are Melbourne Cup runners.
Yes, and it'll be interesting to see how they do perform today, because it's all important for Tuesday. Pete, I like number 8, Marble Halls. He's one of the horses engaged for the Melbourne Cup. I thought at Caulfield...
They're running along at a good tempo. Next, Markham outside Seascape. 2 lengths further back is Sky Bow, and Ebony Grove is at the back of the field, spotting them 12 lengths. at the 650. And the leader, Iteram, half a length in front of Falonte, who came away from the fence. A length and a half back in third as Istedad has had a beautiful trail. Magnet Bay ridden along on the inside, followed by Marble Halls and Seascape. Dane Ripper coming to the outside for Beedman. Markham, the widest runner, Skybow, and Ebony Grove got up on the inside. Iteram at the 400 in front. Now Cassidy calling on Falonte. Istedad a length and a half away third. Marble Halls is flat to the boards. Ebony Grove is running on strongly along the rail, and Dane Ripper coming wider out with a good run. At the 200 metre mark, Falonte hit the lead. Dane Ripper coming at it, followed by Istedad and Marble Halls, and Ebony Grove through on the inside with a fantastic burst. Ebony Grove pounced on the front, draws away, and Ebony Grove goes on to win by a length to Istedad second. Either Falonte or Marble Halls for third. A photo there. Dane Ripper couldn't go on, followed by Seascape, and then came Magnet Bay and Skybow. Back behind those to finish in the race was Iteram and Markham at the end of the field, and we might have a new Melbourne Cup.
And Ebony Grove rounding the turn in the McKinnon Stakes, and Iteram by a length and a half. Falonte second, then came Istedad. Magnet Bay over on the rails. Marble Halls next, about 4 off the lead. Dane Ripper easing to the outside, and Ebony Grove back on the rails from Seascape. Iteram the leader down to the 400, led by a length. 2 Falonte called on it. Here's the mare, Dane Ripper joining in. Istedad the centre, then Marble Halls. Falonte hit the lead. After it was Dane Ripper and Ebony Grove getting a run. Falonte in front, Ebony Grove railing. Istedad, Dane Ripper wide out. Ebony Grove has hit the lead in the Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes, and it's all over. Ebony Grove has won it. Ebony Grove first. Istedad second. Third, I think, Falonte. There, he's actually got hard up against the rail by the time they've hit the line.
At the 350, Iteram a half in front. He has to pull the whip on Falonte, just taking his time to pick up this leader. And here's Dane Ripper. Dane Ripper starting to sweep down the outside with Istedad, and Ebony Grove has got up behind them and gets a run through from Marble Halls. Falonte hit the front. After it, Istedad from Marble, and on the inside, Ebony Grove burst through. Ebony Grove in front now from Istedad and Ebony Grove. Ebony Grove, a big winner.
Shane said earlier in the year this is the best horse in Australia on his day. It looks like the words have come true.
Yeah, this is one horse I've really fallen in love with, and he's an outstanding racehorse, and he only gets his day once every 4 or 5 runs, but there's no horse in Australasia that can beat him when he gets it.
Shane, the Melbourne Cup.
Well, if everything goes right, he can run his last 2 and 22. So horses that can do that, that can stay, it is a big help.
Grove soared up Melbourne Cup betting charts in the best Cup trial since Let's Elope's win in 1991.
He only gets his chance once every 4 or 5, but when he's on his day like he was today, he's unbeatable. And every start, you're not going to see what he did today, because things have to go his way. He has to have the right track, the right pace. But you get him in any race in Australia, no horse will beat him on his day.
Ebony Grove drops 2.5 to 54.5 on Tuesday. Marble Halls didn't have much luck in 4th place.
Greg Miles, the race caller, we might have a new Melbourne Cup favourite. I thought at the time he was right. We don't right now, but how impressive was he?
Look, they've got to be good enough to win, and he's a very good horse, but he was on the right part of the track, and he had a beautiful run through. Nothing got in his road, and he got on the inside rail. I honestly thought my horse's run was as good as his.
You remember Shane Dye, Bruce, at the Jockey of the Spring Carnival made an amazing statement. He said this horse, Ebony Grove, is the best horse in Australia when he's on song. Well, yesterday I think he sort of, he probably gave Shane's statement some credence.
Max has fallen off his chair.
You've got to get everything to suit Ebony Grove, and when he is on his day, he is a very hard horse to beat. And I was about the savage track bias at Flemington yesterday. I think it did Victorian racing no credit. I don't want to be unkind to very generous hosts, but that was not good enough, that track, for a big Group 1 day. This situation,
but it was quite obvious, I think, to all the professionals that if you weren't on the fence, you couldn't win. I think Shane will back that up.
Definitely. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, when they turn for home in all races, you immediately look to the fence to find the winner.
It changes the shape of the races. Blokes start doing things on horses they didn't want to do, and, you know, it's difficult.
About it was a very soft win, and I know the horse backwards. And as I've always stated, on his day, he's just unbeatable, and yesterday was his day.
Could never take...
This horse, Marble Halls, had a chance to take the run I did, but he wasn't going good enough and couldn't sprint quick enough. If he had off, he might have won.
That's true.
You impressed with Ebony Grove?
I thought it was a very good win, but I think we've got to keep it in perspective. The fact that Shane probably rode the best ride in the race, he waited and got the rails run, knowing that the rails was by far the best. And my horse, as he said, didn't sprint quickly enough when they went, and couldn't get to the fence. But I thought on the line, his effort, he was going as good as the winner on the line.
Shane, your 3 horses that are behind us this morning, Doremus, Marble Halls and Always Aloof. Pick one. Is it hard?
I'd have to go to Remus.
Okay, and if it rains, you'll probably be favourite.
But having said that, I think we're all kidding ourselves. If this wasn't the Melbourne Cup, the current favourite would be 2's On.
2's On, Might and Power.
Well, he's won a Caulfield Cup by 7.5 lengths, broke the course record.
Well, do you think De Remus would run favourite if it was wet, or do you think Might and Power now will retain favouritism whatever happens?
Oh, no doubt Might and Power will start favourite. The only threat to him would have been Ebony Grove, but when you think record Caulfield Cup winning margin, fastest metric time, it's always been the most traditional and important lead up to the Melbourne Cup.
Two brothers there on the...
prior to the race, and
he's that sort of horse, isn't he?
Well, he can get a little bit keyed up, Bruce, Keith, but...
Well, the turn.
Well, the thing is, Bruce, everyone says that he led and he went hard. Fair enough, he led, but he didn't go that hard. Throughout the whole race, the only time he got away from them was coming to the corner when I let him run. I clicked him up half mile from home. Prior to that, from about the 1200 to the 800, he relaxed beautiful, and when I clicked him up at the 800 and let the brakes off, it was shut the gate.
I think what this vision is showing us is that no horse behind Might and Power can beat him home in the Melbourne Cup.
I think the freak aspects of that run was how often do you get a front runner that can run a faster last furlong over a distance like 2,400 metres than any other horse in the race, particularly those like De Remus that were doing it early, easy early. They never came home as quick as this horse. He is a freak. If he reproduces that form on Tuesday, he will win the Melbourne Cup and win it.
Well, I don't want to be on him till Cup Day, and let's hope I'm doing the same salute.
What are your tips, Keith and Max?
I'm going for Ebony Grove to beat you, Jim. I've liked him for a long time, but I think you've got a great chance with Might and Power.
One of the only bad luck will beat Might and Power, and I say that because I don't regard Ebony Grove as one of the all-time greats, but I do think he's got a terrific chance in this Melbourne.
Jim.
Thanks, Bruce.
I think you're going to win. You're going to win your second Melbourne Cup on Tuesday.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This was freakish this day, but you've got to remember, if he pulls hard in the Melbourne Cup, he can't win. If he relaxes, he just looks the winner.
You know, I must admit, Marble Halls, he had Caulfield Cup over 2,400, and Lee will argue with me. I've had a question mark over his staying ability.
The horse looks great.
Yeah.
Of the three, Freedman rates 1995 Melbourne Cup winner De Remus the main danger. Lloyd Williams thinks so too. He's had $140,000 on him to win $1 million.
His star jump, another cup jockey, Greg Hall, had special reason to celebrate early at today's traditional call of the...
We had a little baby girl, Cassie Hall, so we're over the moon, mate, and her mother is an absolute...
Now complete as we look at the tote call for the Foster's Melbourne Cup. Give us your thoughts.
Well, Peter, I'm sticking with going with Lee Freedman with one of his horses in this race. Number 11, always aloof from number 3, Might and Power, and number 2, De Remus.
And my selection is number 2, De Remus, to create a little bit of history, to beat number 3, Might and Power, and 8, Ebony Grove. And my outsider is number 9, Arabian Story. There you see the tote call. All of the field of 22 with supporters around Australia and indeed around the world. And the best supported of the bookmakers. There's been a flurry of activity in the last few minutes. To tell us all about it, Tim Gossage.
Some bookmakers simply won't be able to stand up after this race if Might and Power wins the Melbourne Cup. One of Australia's richest men has absolutely offloaded on Might and Power. Some bookmakers have not laid Might and Power in the last 25 minutes. They simply are going to be reeling if Might and Power wins the Cup. It is the standout favourite. Ebony Grove.
Away they go. The gates have crashed back and the big one is underway. Ebony Grove immediately snagged back to the tail of the field with Count Shivers. Might and Power, one of the best to jump away with Marble Halls. Magnet Bay, Crying Game was up there in the early part. Likewise, Court of Honour. A little further out to Viali, and also Sunny Lane's going forward early. Linesman's a bit wide about midfield at the moment, but it is going forward in the race. Always Aloof was midfield. Wider out then was Sapio. Scrupulous getting back with Skybow along the inside of De Remus, and Ebony Grove is 2 lengths away at the tail. As they come down the straight the first time, and the leader is the favourite, and that is Might and Power. Crying Game is going up to second. Linesman is 3 out, but been hunted forward now. Marble Halls was over on the rails. Around him was the mare Sunny Lane, and then Court of Honour followed by Viali. Yo Brave was next on the inside. Around it was Sapio. A length further back than a Magnet Bay. They've got a circuit left to travel. Markham's about midfield on the rails. Always Aloof 3 deep on the outside of Arabian Story. Next on the inside was Grand Master. Bonsai Pipeline is 4 wide around Harbour Dews, Alpha, and Count Shivers on the rails. Then came De Remus. Alpha got a bit of a check there. Skybow is back to the rear of the field in between between Ebony Grove, the fence, and Scrupulous out 3 wide. They've got 2,000 metres left to travel in the Cup now, and the leader is Might and Power. The favourite, Might and Power, by 2 lengths. Marble Hall's racing with his mouth wide open on the inside. Crying Game goes around Linesman now. Crying Game gets to second, Linesman third, fourth the inside Marble Halls, and then Court of Honour getting a nice run on the inside of Yobro. A length and a half further back than a Sunny Lane, around the outside of Viali, and on the rails was Markham. Then Magnet Bay won off the fence, around it was Sapio, and out there 4 wide was Bonsai Pipeline, Grandmaster midfield on the rails. Then came Count Shivers, wider out on the track there was Always Aloof, Arabian Story, the grey in the centre. A length further back in the field to Doremus, and then came Viali. A length and a half further back to Ebony Grove. Harbour Dews was about 6th last, but 3 wide. Alpha's back to 3rd last from Skybow, and Scrupulous at the tail of the field. They've got 1,200 left to travel, and Might and Power is the leader. He's 3/4 of a length in front of Crying Game. 2 lengths away, 3rd was Linesman. He's going up on the outside of Marble Halls. Just behind those was Court of Honour. Then came Viali, a length further back than a Harbour Dews. Over on the inside was Markham. Going forward, Yobro got to about 5th. Markham in between runners. Off the track was Sapio. Over on the inside, Grandmaster as they start to bunch up behind the leaders. It's Might and Power now being tackled by Linesman. A length and a half away, Yobro on the outside of Marble Halls now being called on. Around the outside, Sunny Lane, Sapio, and further back, Arabian Story. Linesman, he's putting the pressure on the turn. It's Might and Power, the inside end. Linesman together as they straighten up in the Foster's Melbourne Cup of 1997. And Might and Power, he got away again, the fave. He's a length in front. Linesman won't lay down. Grandmaster runs on, and here's Doremus. Doremus with a run. Then came Markham and Sapio. Might and Power, the leader. 250 to go. Doremus is after him. Might and Power led a length and a half to Doremus. Then Linesman. Might and Power, the leader. Doremus is coming at him. Doremus after Might and Power. Might and Power and Doremus, they hit it. Oh, it's close. Doremus lunged. Doremus lunged on the outside. Can he have done it a second time? It's a photo in the Melbourne Cup. Doremus and Might and Power. Close up behind them, Linesman with Harbour Dews and Markham. Then Arabian Story, Skybow, Ebony Grove, Grandmaster, Sapio, Magnet Bay, Court of Honour, Always Aloof. Then Scrupulous, Viali, Marble Halls, Yobro, Sunny Lane, Bonsai Pipeline, Crying Game, Count Shivers and Alpha.
I don't know, Dan. I thought Might and Power might have just stuck.
And he's hung on. Might and Power's won it, number 3.
Yes.
One further back is Magnet Bay, Sapio around it, Grandmaster sneaking up on the rail from Always Aloof, Arabian Story, Count Shivers and Doremus. A good way back, Bonsai Pipeline has dropped out of it, followed by Harbour Dews when they came near to the turn. Ebony Grove's got some work to do, and Alpha's one of the last when they swept to the turn, where Linesman raced up and joined Might and Power, the brothers.
Joined Might and Power, the brothers Cassidy, turn around the bend together. Linesman under the whip and Might and Power. They lead from Yobro, 3rd entering the straight. Grandmaster's coming home along the inside from Sapio. Here comes Doremus with a run. Arabian Story is next, and then Viali. Might and Power shook off Linesman, though. At the 300, he raced out by 2 lengths with Doremus challenging. Ebony Grove's getting a rails run, followed by Grandmaster and Markham. Might and Power, the leader inside the 200. 2 lengths in front of Linesman, and then Doremus on the outside. Might and Power, the leader. Doremus trying hardest, coming at him. Might and Power and Doremus. Doremus getting to Might and Power. They hit the line. Photo. Oh, nothing between them. Doremus or Might and Power in a close go. Photo 3rd, either Markham or Harbour Dews is there. Back behind those Linesmen, Greg Hall has thrown the whip in the air. He thinks he's won.
Melbourne Cup by a nose from Doremus. Oh, Greg Hall will be the most shattered man on the course. He thought he'd won. He was wielding the whip wildly as he went past. He's done it all, Might and Power, Jim Cassidy. He's lasted by a nose from Doremus. He's become the 10th horse to win the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double.
Yeah, it's fantastic. This horse is a champion. He is an out-and-out champion.
And Jimmy, like you were taken on from the half mile when
that wouldn't worry me.
And Sydney, you know, that's the first time that I've ever tried to interview a jockey. Greg Hall thought he won the race, and then your number went up, and you nearly jumped out the saddle.
Oh, look, I just waited for the number. What a great thrill, mate. What a horse. I love the horse.
Well,
to win this with Jack Denham is just unbelievable.
Jimmy, you've deserved it. You've been through a lot of hard times in the last couple of years, but this tops it all, mate, doesn't it? The big one.
The plan is, Betsy, don't lay down, mate.
You never have you?
I went show jumping and they taught me one thing.
Is that the longest 3.5 minutes of your life?
You better believe it, he's a super horse.
What about when...
Super horse. You know what? He's good for racing. It's good for racing to have a horse like this again.
Nick, when they went past the line...
He's a champion.
When they went past the line, Nick, did you think you'd won?
No, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. My son's standing out first with one of Dad, and I wasn't sure. I thought we went down, but...
I suppose, well, there was an inch difference between the best run and the second best run, and Lee Freedman's here quickly. What are the emotions after that?
I'm pretty down. I thought he'd got there. I thought he got there right on the line. But take nothing away from the winner. It was a magnificent... I think there were two great, outstanding horses for the finish out.
Did you think he'd won, Lee?
I thought he'd won. And when Greg sprang up after the line, he's usually pretty good in the finish. I thought he got there.
Hard luck.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
Lee Freedman.
A second Cup win for Jimmy Cassidy. He's done it both ways, from last on Kiwi in 83, and he led all the way on the 7-2 favourite today. And for those in the sweeps, the official last was Count Chivas.
And Tim Gossage, first of all, what sort of result for the bookmakers, Might and Power in the Melbourne Cup?
Absolutely horrific, Peter. I was speaking to one bookmaker. I said, are you on the canvas? He said, no, worse than that. I've gone through it. He said he's absolutely been cleaned up. Even when the horses were in the barrier, they still came back and took more on Might and Power. A horrific result. And they've come again to the punters. Might and Power's result. It was a shocker.
Tim, the word was that one of Australia's biggest punters was behind the plunge on Might and Power prior to the Foster's Melbourne Cup, and he has collected only by the barest possible margin.
Race, 3 times he actually jumped the shadows coming off the markers on the track, which is unbelievable for a horse to be able to do that.
We thought this was the Caulfield Cup horse and probably Yippee the Melbourne Cup horse before the race, but the way he went to the line in the Caulfield Cup, and I think he broke 12 his last furlong, you know, and when Jimmy went to pull him up, he wanted to go another lap, so we were quietly confident to run the 2 mile without, like everybody else, everybody's guess until you try.
Nick, you said through the week that the horse was a very good horse. You won't call him a champion yet. Will you call him a champion now?
He's a champion, Roy. In and out, champion.
He's every bit of the word, I'll give you the mail. Horses that can do what he done, I've ridden some smart horses in my short time, but for a horse to be able to do what he's done is just remarkable. And you can even go back to his defeat in the Epsom. Look at the winners that have come out of the Epsom, but look what this horse has done since the Epsom. He is an out-and-out champion, don't worry about that. I would say without a doubt, yeah. For a horse to be able to do what he done at Caulfield and not run since the Caulfield Cup, that's what makes the win bigger to me, being a jockey, that the training feet alone is something very special. It's not easy to do.
I don't think you could ever find the words to explain, when you love racing like I do, how you really feel. Great.
Otto, and your horse is one of the 2 in it.
Did you back the double? Jeez, I still don't think we've got beat. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's racing. Other than Might and Power, who's a very good stayer, this horse was one of the greatest stayers in the last 25 years to do what he did. Come back from a bleeding attack and nearly win the Melbourne Cup.
Party to Dorcom.
I looked in the papers this morning and saw how narrow the margin was. It's a pretty bitter pill to swallow, but, you know, that's part of racing. You've got to get on with things.
And today they thought they'd run first.
Might and Power into Remus, they hit it. Oh, it's close to Remus runs.
Scott beat. Yep. Thank you very much. Scott beat. You reckon? Yeah.
Usually when they think it, they usually have, but anyway, not to beat. He didn't bob his head at the right time. What can you say? In racing, you've got to handle it. Defeat, it's part of the game.
You ever seen a jockey more emotional?
Never. Well, I can understand why. It's probably his last ride in the racing. Thought he had it after he crossed the line. Because I think he's had a pretty emotional week with his baby, and I think it also hit him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're great blokes, and I went up and they changed. I mean, just can't believe it.
You just thought you'd got there? I mean, you've led, just looking at the replay, you've led before the line and after the line, basically. And for about...
I've never seen a better cup. Keith's seen a few more than me, and welcome, and you too, Max. Seen a better one, guys?
Oh, no, I haven't, Bruce, and
We haven't seen two such magnificent performances as Might and Power and Jim Cassidy put up. Firstly, the Caulfield Cup, which was Tulloch-like, and then finally on Tuesday, that magnificent all-the-way win. There's something that I don't think we'll ever see equalled again.
How did he feel to you during the run, the same super horse that he was at Caulfield? Did he feel as strong to you on Melbourne Cup Day as he did on Caulfield Cup Day?
Every bit, Bruce. I'd never seen a horse improve as much since a hard run in the Caulfield Cup coming into a Melbourne Cup. And if the Melbourne Cup had been a mile and a half, he would have won by 7 again. Don't worry about that.
Bruce, the measure of this cup being measurable is that, or memorable, is that only 10 horses in the 137 years have done both cups, the Caulfield Melbourne Cups double, and only 4, like De Remus, had won 2. So the 2 great horses were fighting it out, and in the end it was Might and Power who carried the highest Caulfield Cup penalty ever to win the Melbourne Cup.
And the other point is too, how many have led all the way and won, and the others, like Lord Fury, haven't had 8 stone, haven't had 51 on their back. This horse had 56. That's what made it so great.
Yeah, he had a half more than Saintly, and the trend now for Melbourne Cup horses are they've got to be top-class weight for age horses to win. Look, let's have a look at yesterday's race.
It's got the hoodoo colour.